Sergeant Dane Lurtle says the victim has been transferred to a Salt Lake hospital for further treatment.
The last update we have is that he is in stable condition.
Brady and Gilmore were booked on suspicion of attempted murder and assault, and Crinan is being investigated for obstruction. Reporting live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Salt Lake City police have arrested a man accused of selling fentanyl near a local library. Police say Aaron Hall admitted to possessing illegal substances. He was accused of having more than 300 suspected fentanyl pills on him. Police booked Hall into the Salt Lake County Jail. KSL's top national story this hour. A change of heart could mean a different fate for the Menendez brothers. Los Angeles has a new district attorney, and while his predecessor advocated for the resentencing of Eric and Lyle Menendez, the new DA says he doesn't think that they meet the threshold for being released from prison. DA Nathan Hochman says the brothers have lied multiple times about the case and the timeline leading up to their parents' murders.
They pose an unreasonable risk of danger to the community, and the resentencing should not therefore be granted.
Eric and Lyle Menendez have served more than 35 years of their life sentences. The new DA says he will pursue the resentencing hearing. Threatened tariffs on imports from Canada and Mexico set the markets tumbling today. ABC's Karen Travers says it's too much uncertainty for traders.
It is causing a lot of confusion on Wall Street, uncertainty for American businesses who, of course, have to handle that higher cost when they're bringing these products into the country. And experts and economists are warning that that cost, of course, gets passed on to American consumers.
Tariffs on specific goods on imports from China are still in place, but it's unclear which ones have been implemented for Canada and Mexico. Some analysts fear a recession is looming.
I actually spoke with the chief economist at Moody's today, Mark Zandi, who says that the recession risk is growing. He now puts it at 35% versus 15% for a recession early next year. He says this could happen if the Trump tariffs are put in place and remain there for at least a few months.
That is ABC's Alexis Christoforous. The clock is ticking for another federal government deadline. Congress needs to make a deal to extend government funding by Friday night, or agencies could shut down, affecting everything from military paychecks to travel. The House is set to vote on a stopgap bill as soon as tomorrow. The part of Washington, D.C. known as the Black Lives Matter Plaza is being torn down. Crews got to work with jackhammers today to take down some of the murals and street markers there. It's expected to take up to 8 weeks. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says Congress intends to turn that space into a celebration of the nation's 250th anniversary next year. Look up and you may see the future of aviation. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports 47G's Project Alta is doing air taxi demonstrations this week.
Air taxis may still sound like a thing of the future, similar to a hoverboard or even smell-o-vision. But the executive director of 47G's Project Alta, Chris Metz, says this is real and it's happening now. And it didn't pop up overnight. Metz says it's been and will continue to be a lengthy process, which is exactly what it needs to be.
We don't want to just bring it to the state and say, good luck, everybody. We want to make sure that it's built on an infrastructure of safety and security and economical viability.
The air taxis are expected to be fully operational in the state by 2034, just in time for the Salt Lake City Olympic Games. But they won't be launching overnight. It will be a multi-step process to build up to human transportation. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Bike riders in Riverton will soon be getting more bike lanes. Riverton City and UDOT officials announced that they are putting in bike lanes along 134 South from 2700 West to 2300 West starting this Thursday. Officials say the road will still be open, though there may be some restrictions every once in a while. They hope to have the bike lanes finished in May. UDOT says it's pothole repair season, which means that you could see some freeway traffic stops for repairs in the coming days. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly reports.
4 big potholes on I-15 northbound in Davis County prompted UDOT to do rolling stoppages this morning between Bountiful and Farmington to fix them. Spokesman Mitch Shaw says the dry weather and sunshine make it the best time to repair the roads. He adds springtime is pothole repair season.
Crews also fixed a pothole in I-15 southbound in Sunset this morning, causing unusual delays in the area. KSL News Time, 3:05. First look traffic, and let's check in with Ricky Meese.
The first signs of the afternoon drive setting in. The slowdowns are on southbound I-15 in the usual spot going from Murray to Midvale. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Coming up on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, Jeff is taking on city driving. Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News is next.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Imagine struggling with a slow, outdated computer that takes forever to load anything, that randomly freezes up and is filled with viruses and malware. Now picture yourself with a powerful desktop or laptop that runs smoothly and efficiently, making your work and entertainment seamless. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and it's time once again for our free furnace sale, where you buy a new air conditioner and we give you a new furnace for just the cost to install it. About $400. The furnace is free. You just pay the labor. And here's the best part. There's up to $5,600 in rebates and tax incentives available right now that can help you stack even more savings on top of this already amazing deal. So if you've been thinking about replacing your old furnace and air conditioner, don't miss this opportunity to offset the cost by using someone else's money. To learn more, all you have to do is contact Any Hour Services and schedule a free estimate. One of our HVAC supervisors will come to your home, show you exactly how much you can save with our free furnace sale, and walk you through how to collect every dollar of rebate incentives your new system qualifies for. We even have a rebate support specialist to help you if you have questions. If you think you might be interested, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7400. Google Any Hour Services or schedule a free estimate online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. A new study shows that one of the benefits of city living in Salt Lake is that it's an easy drive. The study by Traffic Index compared how long it takes to drive in various cities. The slowest, New York. To drive 6 miles in the Big Apple, you grind out 30 long minutes of beep and creep. Beep, 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 yeah. Meantime, a 6-mile drive through the very heart of Salt Lake City takes an average 9 minutes, 46 seconds. Which raises a question. Are people using flying cars here? Because whenever I drive through the middle of Salt Lake, construction is constantly squeezing you down to one lane. The traffic lights take forever, not to mention all the jamokes making illegal left turns, gumming things up constantly. But this widely publicized survey says you can drive 6 miles in the time it takes to microwave a baked potato, which means more out-of-staters will move here thinking you can zip through downtown while singing Love Shack twice. If you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says construction, squeeze left. 9 minutes, 46 seconds. But au contraire, you drive through downtown Salt Lake City while you're sitting still waiting for the traffic to move. The appropriate song to belt out would be Born to be Idle. Born to be idle.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
It is brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. What's going on, Ricky?
We do have traffic already getting busy and slow. Southbound I-15 between 53rd and 72nd. But from 90th south all the way to Provo, you're good to go. All clear northbound I-15 in Utah and Salt Lake counties. A nice-looking drive to the west on the 201 and to the east on I-80. Already seeing some traffic building, actually both directions of Pioneer Crossing around some of those traffic lights in American Fork. But for those who are traveling 2100 north going westbound from I-15 all the way to Redwood Road, it is a good drive.
Eric?
Had a crash in Tooele. This is northbound on Main Street. That's SR 36, and technically it's blocking the right lane, but that's really the turn lane to go east on 1000 North. So basically, you're just going to have to go up a little bit further before you get into that right turn lane. We still have a little bit of southbound slowing on the 215 westbound by the airport as you get up to I-80 northbound. Looks good through Davis and Weber counties. Arctic Spas, hot tubs and swim spas with stores in Salt Lake, American Fork, and St. George. Automatic natural saltwater care, making your spa water more comfortable and convenient. ArcticSpasUtah.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Just a delightful forecast here, folks. Look at this sunshine today with a high of 62 degrees. Get outdoors. Overnight, we'll dip off into the upper and mid-30s. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, 63. Beautiful, but a little breezy on Wednesday. Partly cloudy, 64. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's so nice, sunny and 61 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And still to come on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News. The latest on a weekend shooting outside the White House. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and the KSL News Radio app. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. I love to talk about NPS. It indeed is a nice place to save, and they get their inventory. I get asked this all the time. Where does it come from? Overstock, unclaimed, refused shipments from various companies around the country and even around the world, and NPS acquires that and gives you savings of 20 to 70% each and every day. And then on top of that, each of their 4 stores, they'll have in-store deals that save you even more. You get the products that you want at unbelievable prices. And sometimes you'll find things that you weren't even looking for, but you end up absolutely loving. Treasure hunting at its best awaits you at NPS. And of course, you can get your groceries there too at very competitive prices. They're on North State Street in Orem, North Main Street in Layton, and in Salt Lake City, just off Redwood Road.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Hi, this is Kathy.
And Jason from Window World.
Jason, there's a window company giving huge discounts, saying it's the biggest sale ever.
And last month they were offering free labor. That just doesn't add up.
We don't play those games. At Window World, everyone gets the same low price every day.
No pressure, no games, and now we offer siding too.
Call Window World today, 801-281-8111 for 4 windows and a patio door for just $56.12.
And as Doug always said,
that's no baloney. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors. And did you know that we get a bunch of service calls per year from people who didn't even hire us? That means they originally hired someone else to replace their siding, gutters, and windows. Then later, when a problem popped up, they tried to call their contractor back to fix it, only to find out that the contractor has ceased to exist. They're gone, done, out of business. At RGS Exteriors, we've been serving Utah for 70 years. As a 5th-generation owned contractor, we've got customers who are the grandkids of our customers we had in the 1950s and 60s. We're not going anywhere. We will be here when you need us, period. For siding, gutters, and windows, now and forever, call RGS Exteriors at 801-280-3110 or visit at rgsexteriors.com. That's 801-280-3110 or rgsexteriors.com.
KSL News Time, 3:15. The three things you need to know this hour first.
3 people have been arrested in Tooele after someone was stabbed over a $50 debt. I'm KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, UDOT's been doing rolling traffic stoppages to help deal with big potholes on I-15. They stopped traffic to fix 4 of them today in Davis County. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Some unusual slowdown southbound I-215's West Belt from just before 7th North down to the I-80 junction, and our usual delays already setting in for your Monday afternoon drive home. Southbound I-15 between 53rd South Murray through Midvale. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Springtime 60s for the first half of your week, then a chance for snow. I'm Matt Johnson.
61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now, KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Lindsay Davis, anchor of Prime, streaming weeknights on ABC News Live. Rising concerns, President Trump's on-again, off-again tariffs are creating uncertainty for businesses and investors. Stock plummeted today as the U.S. hiked duties on goods from Canada, Mexico, and China. Former U.S. Executive Director of the World Bank Group, Matthew McGuire, says those prices will like consumers.
Consumers are 70% of our economy. So as more and more people worry about losing jobs, as more and more businesses are worried about increasing costs that consumers are going to have to pay for, there are a lot of people who are very worried right now about where we're headed.
Top trading partners are issuing reciprocal tariffs. In Canada, Ontario's premier adding a 25% surcharge for electricity provided for U.S. states. ABC's Catherine Faulders on the fallout.
Quite telling comments to Donald Trump after these markets tumble, of course, that this is the tariffs on Canada were a self-made Donald Trump recession. He said that Trump ran on a mandate to lower prices and it's backfired.
Add to that a deadline looming for a government shutdown at the end of the week. The House will vote on a bill tomorrow aimed at averting that shutdown. Ceasefire talks are set to begin tomorrow between the U.S., Ukraine, and Russian officials. Ukraine's leader arrived in Saudi Arabia where negotiations will take place. A source close to President Zelensky told ABC News Ukraine will propose a mutual partial ceasefire.
The source said Ukraine wants the partial ceasefire to test if Russia would respect it. Russian officials so far publicly, though, have not signaled support for the idea, which was first floated by France. President Zelensky has now arrived in Saudi Arabia to meet with its ruler, but he will not take direct part in the U.S. talks on Tuesday. Patrick Reevell, ABC News, at the Foreign Desk.
The Vatican says Pope Francis continues to improve as he recovers from double pneumonia. Officials say he's participating in video meetings and has no plans to step down. The 88-year-old pontiff has been hospitalized for more than 3 weeks. You're listening to ABC News.
Hey Utah, it's the water boy here, Colson Firmage, a third-generation Culligan man. Does your water taste bad, musty, salty, or bitter? Well, say hello to the cleanest, pure-tasting water in Utah, Culligan Water. Imagine having crisp, pure water delivered right to your doorstep. No more heavy lifting, no more last-minute store runs, just fresh, great-tasting water for you and your family. Culligan offers flexible delivery schedules to fit your lifestyle. Whether you need a few bottles or a full supply, we've got you covered. Join thousands of satisfied customers who trust Culligan for all their water needs. Our bottled water delivery is perfect for drinking, cooking, and keeping your family hydrated and happy. If you're worried about your water, get a free consultation. Call Culligan Water today at 801-509-9686. That's 801-509-9686. Or visit us online at CulliganSLC.com to start your delivery service today. Enjoy the convenience and taste the difference with Culligan. Culligan, water you love.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. What's happening, Ricky?
Well, for those who are traveling southbound on I-15, we do have slowdowns already starting to set in, and this is going to be from Murray into Midvale, but from 90th south on, you're looking at a really good drive. On northbound I-15, we do have some damaged roadway. This is prior to the 6th South exit. It's over to the left. Just keep an eye out for it. Also, traffic getting busy and slow. I-215 southbound going eastbound as you're approaching the I-15 junction in Murray. Eric?
Northbound out of downtown, looking good from Salt Lake City through Bountiful, Layton, all the way up to Ogden on I-15. A little bit of congestion north of I-84 if you're on US 89 and heading up the hills to South Ogden, Harrison Boulevard. And we do have southbound slowing going by the airport on the 215 westbound approaching I-80. Out in Tooele County, you do have a City Street crash in Tooele itself approaching 1000 north. This is on the northbound side, and it's blocking the right turn lane, so you're just going to have to go a little bit further before you can get into that lane. With Two Brothers Mattress, lowest price guarantee, and their 100-night trial, Two Brothers Mattress is your locally owned #1 choice in Serta mattresses. Learn more at twobrothersmattress.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts with spring and ends with snow. How about sunshine today with a high of 62, high pressure in control. Tomorrow, beautiful, partly cloudy, 63. 64 and partly cloudy skies on Wednesday, but a south wind kicks up. Those are winds of change. I've got rain on Thursday, 53 the high. Snow on Friday, even down to the valley floor, 40 degrees. 43 with snow showers possible on Saturday, 43. Then we're going to go for 50 and mostly cloudy on Sunday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
A lot of sunshine, 61 degrees downtown. 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Patrick was way behind on his IRS taxes.
I was in way over my head. The total amount ended up being somewhere just over $30,000. $30,000.
Then the IRS came to collect.
Started getting letter after letter. A lien had been filed against me. They were going to basically hang me completely out to dry.
He had to do something.
That's when I reached out to Optima Tax Relief.
Patrick's life quickly got a lot easier.
It was very easy, pretty much hands off. They picked up the ball and ran with it.
And how'd it go?
I couldn't believe it. I had to ask 2 or 3 times. I saved an incredible amount of money.
How does Patrick feel about Optima?
Couldn't be happier. They definitely helped me. Optima Tax Relief, the best place to call. They're the best in the business.
Do what Patrick did and call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460. 800-343-6460.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Do you worry about how much someone drinks?
Do you feel angry or depressed most of the time? Do you feel neglected or unloved?
Do you feel you attract people who tend to be compulsive or abusive?
Do you have money problems because of someone else's drinking?
Are you afraid or embarrassed to bring your friends home?
Do you feel that if the drinker loved you, she or he would stop drinking?
If you answered yes to any of these questions, you are not alone.
More than half of all adults have a family history of alcoholism.
Not everyone trapped by alcohol is an alcoholic.
Families and friends are suffering too. Al-Anon and Alateen can help. Call 1-866-200-0223 or visit alanon.org/help.
Dave and Debbie. It's impossible to digest and consume all of the news that's now coming at us through either social media or through web pages or through the radio. Pick what is most impactful in your life and focus on that. And that's what Dave and I do every single morning. We pick those issues that are most important to our listeners and we boil it down so it's digestible. It's simple to understand.
I think we're trying to find the essence of the story. You can't be an expert on all things, but that doesn't mean you can't be curious and really find out more and educate yourself and learn the complexities of an issue. But I think all of us start at ground zero on everything. Ask questions, show that curiosity.
And then if you need more research, you can always go to KSLNewsRadio.com and learn more.
Listen for Dave and Dejanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 3:25. We are watching Utah's money. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration issued another wave of recalls last week, including recalls for over 175,000 Volkswagen vehicles. USA Today reports Volkswagen recalls are mostly for 2024 and 2025 Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport vehicles that have a loose engine cover. Dealers will reportedly address that recall for free. CVS is planning to open a dozen stores this year that only consist of a pharmacy. CNN reports the pharmacy chain hopes the smaller stores will allow them to bounce back after closing more than 1,000 stores and laying off thousands of employees. NASA announced that it's planning to close 3 offices. USA Today reports it's part of a phased reduction at the agency. NASA has not said how many jobs will be cut because of the closures. The Dow was down 889 points. It closed at 41,912. S&P was down 155 points. The NASDAQ down 727 points. The state of Texas and its solidly Republican legislature have taken a cue from Washington, setting up a government efficiency committee and actually calling it DOGE.
The Texas House Committee on Delivery of Government Efficiency has, among its duties, oversight over the newly formed Texas Space Commission. Its vice chair is the general manager of the SpaceX Starbase.
That's concerning.
Democratic State Representative Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos says the Space Commission hands out state money and
almost 20% of the grants given were people on your board,
including a $7.5 million grant that went to SpaceX. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
You bought a house, or maybe you're building one, but it just isn't feeling like home. Not yet. AMC Building Materials has this undeniable knack for transforming a house into a home, your home. How do they do that? They combine years of exceptional kitchen and bath creations with your ideas. In fact, customer satisfaction is their #1 priority. You know what you want. You know it's not going to be cookie cutter, and this is exactly where AMC shines. AMC delivers exceptional quality, bold-style kitchen and bath designs, along with their exceptional value and a timeline you'll love. Most projects are complete by the elite AMC professional installers in under 10 days. Immerse yourself in the beauty, function, and feel in person at the AMC Building Materials Showroom in Salt Lake City. Get directions and schedule your free estimate at amckitchenslc.org. AMC Building Materials, transforming your house into a home. amckitchenslc.org.
This week's movie show brought to you by Sound Sleep Medical. Get a free sleep screening and a free sleep consultation by tuning in on Friday morning. Sound Sleep Medical with 7 locations in Utah.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, $149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. What? They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. $149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. And here's Ricky Meese.
We have emergency pothole repair taking place on I-15 northbound. This is prior to the 6th South exit in downtown, and it's in a left and center lane. This damaged roadway now has all traffic stopped on northbound I-15 in order to have crews out there trying to get this patched up, and then you'll be able to be on your way. But for right now, expect delays. Also crowded and slow southbound I-15 approaching 53rd South in Murray through Midvale. After that, you're looking good all the way to Provo. Eric?
Coming out of that northbound problem spot Ricky was talking about, I-15 looks good up to North Salt Lake, Bountiful, and beyond. And to the Legacy Parkway, also in good shape heading north. Whipple Service Champions, your cooling, heating, plumbing, drains, and electrical specialists. Whipple that away. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
High pressure in control. Ongoing sunny skies today with a high of 62. Overnight dipping off to the mid-30s. 63 for tomorrow's high, partly cloudy skies. Warm and breezy on Wednesday, 64. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
You're listening to Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM
and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon, KSL News Time, 3:30. I'm Maria Shaleo sitting in today for Jeff Kaplan. It's sunny in downtown Salt Lake City and 61 degrees. KSL's top story. The end of the legislative session means the beginning of the wait to see what Governor Cox will sign and what, if anything, he vetoes. One local water district is already thinking about what changes they need to make if he signs a bill that bans fluoride in public water systems. We have two reports. Eye on the Hill, beginning with KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson. Heather?
Maria, the Weber Basin Water Conservancy District General Manager Scott Paxman tells KSL TV they have to work closely with state and federal agencies like the EPA to remove fluoride.
The removal, the transport, and disposal of the fluorosilicic acid is very regulated because it is a hazardous waste, a hazardous material.
Paxman says not using fluoride would save them about $250,000 to $300,000 a year, but the American Dental Association is urging Governor Spencer Cox to veto the bill because they say removing fluoride increases dental diseases and the cost associated with them. But if he does sign it,
the law doesn't take effect till May the 7th. We understand that, so we'll be feeding fluoride until then.
Reporting live, Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
Continuing our coverage, Eye on the Hill, a measure that would mean that you have to opt in to vote by mail starting in 4 years is waiting for Governor Cox's signature. But at least one county clerk is worried about what that bill will do.
There's a long road ahead of us.
Salt Lake County Clerk Lenny Chapman tells me she's concerned because whenever you drastically change the system, you have to re-educate voters on how it works and how they can make sure their votes are counted. She says her concerns are not grave, but she does think this will lead to poll workers having to cure or fix more ballot mistakes by the time the changes are implemented.
That is KSL News Radio's Adam Small reporting. Chapman says she's hopeful for a smooth transition and that the bill sponsors are open to collaborating. A Utah lawmaker believes his bill, which made it through the legislature this session, could have provided a safeguard for kids online and protected them from what happened in Box Elder County recently. A district judge and a Tree Mountain fire chief are both in jail after police say they found child sex abuse materials on their phones from a chat app called Kik. Utah Senator Todd Weiler told David Dujanovic that his bill would require app stores notify parents before kids can download the app.
You'll just have a pop-up on your screen that says, so-and-so is trying to download this app. Did you want to accept the terms and conditions, yes or no? And then I think it would give you a link to the terms and conditions to review them. And then it would give the parent an opportunity to say, what the heck is this app? What is it all about?
Weiler's bill is waiting for the governor's signature. KSL's top national stories. The House is expected to vote tomorrow on a GOP-crafted spending bill that would avoid a government shutdown at the end of the week. ABC's Stephen Portnoy reports.
Beyond a few tweaks cutting some domestic spending and boosting it at the Pentagon, the bill mostly keeps government agencies funded at their current levels. But House Democrats, who typically vote to avoid shutdowns, say they won't be on board this time because there's nothing in the bill to prevent future DOGE-related cuts. Should it pass on a party-line basis in the House, at least 8 Democrats in the Senate would have to sign on to break a filibuster and avoid a Friday night shutdown.
They also say that this government funding package doesn't do anything to protect entitlement programs, specifically Medicaid, which they say is on the hook for serious cuts. As many as 4 Tesla Cybertrucks burned overnight in Seattle.
I'm looking at 2 Cybertrucks inside this storage lot, completely charred and melted. This is a storage lot full of Teslas just off the boat. They come here before the dealership or an owner picks them up. There's been a wave of vandalism at Tesla dealerships, on vehicles, and at charging stations around the country in recent weeks. Backlash against Elon Musk. The Seattle Fire Department is investigating this apparent attack.
That is KSL News Radio's Luke Ducey reporting. KSL News Time 3:33. Look up. You may see some air taxis in the sky this week. 47G is doing the state's first air taxi demonstrations. Chris Metz is the executive director of 47G's Project Alta. He says he wants to assure the public that they are safe and that they didn't just pop up overnight.
This is not something that was invented yesterday. It's been in the works for years, and that there have been engineers and certification professionals and the right people in place bringing this technology to use.
They should be ready to transport people in 2034, just in time for the Winter Olympics in Salt Lake City. KSL Sports. BYU men's basketball is jumping 6 points in the latest AP Top 25 poll to number 17. That ranking makes them the highest-ranked team from the Mountain and Pacific time zones headed into tournament season. BYU football coach Kalani Sitake is about to follow in Lavelle Edwards' footsteps by becoming only the second current football coach to address the school during a campus devotional.
Lavelle Edwards was known for being a fatherly figure to his players and giving plenty of life advice. And he was asked to bring that advice to the entire student body back in 1976. That speech now lives on, posted on YouTube. And here's a clip of what he told his wife about being asked to speak.
I wanted to make sure that it was something very special. And she said, well, honey, just look at it this way. If they wanted something real special, they'd never ask you.
Kalani Sitake will now get his chance to share words of wisdom when he takes the podium tomorrow morning at 11. Sitake was coached by Lavelle, and he often says he bases his coaching style today on what he learned from the Hall of Fame coach over 2 decades ago. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 3:35. That means time for First Look Traffic with Ricky Meese.
Well, crews quickly patched up this hole and the damaged roadway on northbound I-15 prior to 6 South. It's in the left and center lane of travel. And traffic is moving again, but with traffic stopped on northbound I-15, those delays set in back to 2100 South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Coming up on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, Jeff's take on Hotel California. Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News is next.
This is Derek Overstreet of the New Millennium Group and host of Stop Working and Start Living Radio. If you're close to or in retirement and you don't have a tax plan, call us right now, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. Listen, our country's been spending like never before, and the tax bill is coming soon. If you need an income tax strategy and a financial plan that will get you through the rest of your life, give my team a call, 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. If you want an investment plan that allows you to keep more of your gains and pay less taxes, give us a call, 888-999-6370. My team specializes in the type of plan that will get you retired 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible. So, get a no-cost tax analysis by calling 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370. My team is standing by now.
Tay-Tay was a typical girl that loved pink, singing, and all kinds of animals. At 3 years old, she tumbled off a horse and received a traumatic brain injury. Her family prayed for a miracle. And when they realized their daughter would not survive, they made the decision to donate her organs. Because of her donation, 4 other people received her organs and tissue, allowing others to live. Go to donorconnect.life and read about what it takes to become a donor. Did you know many people think that they're too old and not in good enough health to be a donor? Anyone can be a donor. If you were told that it could save a life for someone close to you, or even a stranger, would you please donate? Finding out more on why you should become a donor is pretty easy. DonorConnect.life can walk you through the process and what it takes to simply sign up. Check yes to become a donor when you renew your driver's license. Give hope, heal life. DonorConnect.life.
KSL News Time, 3:38.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. There's a song you've been hearing for decades, and for just as long, people have been trying to figure out what it's about. From the first guitar strum, Hotel California grips you with that string duet. But is there a real Hotel California? No. So what's it about? Out of curiosity, I did the deep dive and tore into the lyrics, and from the very first words, it's weird. Do you ever wonder what the warm smell of colitas was?
Warm smell of colitas rising up through the air.
It is a slang term in Mexico for marijuana buds. So are we talking about drugs here? Many claim the Hotel California is a drug rehab.
We haven't had that spirit here since 1969.
That reference? In 1969, California supposedly passed a law that banned alcoholic beverages in drug rehab centers. Before that, you could drink while you were getting weaned from drugs. And then, of course, there's the most famous line of the song.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Sure sounds like drug rehab to me. Some say it refers to Camarillo State Mental Hospital in California, but others see signs of conspiracy theories and even the occult. Others claim it's about the hedonistic excesses of the 70s. There's a Mercedes-Benz pink champagne on ice, but whatever the song means, make no mistake, the Eagles, the band, created this confusion. For nearly 50 years, they've said, it's about whatever you want it to be about. So belt it out in the car, and if you want it to be about your kid's gymnastics team or your mom's birthday, whatever, knock yourself out.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. And here's Ricky Meese.
The damaged roadway has been fixed northbound I-15 prior to 6 South at the exit into downtown Salt Lake City. It was in the left and center lane of travel. However, we still have residual delays, and these are stop-and-go speeds back to about 33rd South. On southbound I-15, it's a little busy approaching 1300 South, but most of your heavy and slower traffic is waiting for you from Murray at 53rd South, almost to 90th South Sandy. Looking at a clear drive on the rest of your Salt Lake County freeways and on I-15 in Utah County. Eric?
Coming off the 201 southbound Mountain View corridor, a typical congestion and slowdowns in West Valley City approaching 35th South. You got a little bit of northbound slowing on Bangerter Highway approaching the 201. Going through Davis and Weber counties right now, looks like a pretty smooth ride on all of the freeways. If you're in Ogden, expect some congestion at some of the stoplights on Washington Boulevard, particularly northbound approaching 24th Street. Teens can get up to $200 with a Teen Learn and Earn account, plus continue earning rewards as they master the essentials of finance. More at cypresscu.com/teen. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
High pressure, sunny skies, and 60s today. It looks perfect. 38 in the overnight. We'll go to 63 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. South winds pick up on Wednesday, partly cloudy, 64. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny and 61 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And this is a big week for BYU basketball. A big game coming up on Thursday. Cougar Nation is coming your way at 6 o'clock tonight. It's brought to you by Central Bank. Make sure you tune in to hear Mitch and Matt and their take on the upcoming game.
Hello, I'm Boyd Matheson, and now a minute of kindness brought to you by One Kind Act a Day. Kindness isn't about what we get, it's about what we give. One school's kindness initiative exemplified this when, instead of activities, treats, and prizes, they embraced the true spirit of kindness. So instead of a single week, they dedicated an entire month to kindness. With the focus on giving instead of getting, students embraced the challenge to complete 11,500 acts of kindness in a single month. The difference was remarkable. Instead of waiting for a reward, they were excited to uplift others, creating a culture of genuine care and connection. Sometimes kindness just needs the right perspective. When we shift the focus from what do I get to what can I give, the impact lasts far beyond a single day, week, or even a month. What small act of kindness can you do today? Find out more about how you can be involved in kindness at thepowerofkind.org. That's thepowerofkind.org.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. 'Cause I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
KSL News Time, 3:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a local county clerk is voicing concerns with a bill expected to be signed by Utah's governor that'll make huge changes to our state's vote-by-mail process. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, the governor is expected to sign a bill that would remove fluoride from the public water system. Local water providers are looking at how they will need to adjust. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
We have a stalled vehicle eastbound on the 21st South Freeway, about 8400 west in Magna. They're working to get it moved out of traffic. And where we had a damaged roadway, it's been patched, but we're still dealing with the leftover delays northbound I-15 from South Salt Lake to downtown. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Spring has sprung, just for a few days this week. Then it's back to the storms. I'm Matt Johnson.
We'll take it. Sunny 61 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now KSL's top national story.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. A trade war brewing between the U.S. and its top trading partners, Canada, Mexico, and China, dragging stocks down further today. Moody's chief economist Mark Zandi says the risk of a recession has more than doubled since the start of the year. President Trump defending his tariff policy, saying the disruption will be temporary. ABC's Mary Alice Parks is at the White House.
He's doubling down, defending his moves, defending the idea of tariffs, saying that they will, in the long run, be good for U.S. job creation, be good for onshoring, bringing back manufacturing to the United States, but really downplaying this concern that in the short term, they could also include an increase in prices for consumers. Of course, that's what companies, that's what investors are worried about, that companies are going to be forced to pass on the price of these tariffs to consumers in the form of higher prices.
Canada's newly elected Prime Minister, Mark Carney, who is replacing the outgoing Justin Trudeau, says Canada will not back down. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The U.S. Department of Justice is investigating egg producers to see if they are sharing information about supply and pricing. Joining me now live is ABC News investigative reporter Peter Haralambous. Peter, thanks for being with me.
Thanks so much for having me.
Tell us about this investigation. What's it all about?
So at this point, the DOJ is in the very early stages of this investigation. They're trying to figure out if these major egg companies have been sharing information about the supply and pricing of eggs. The idea here is there something other than just the bird flu that's driving up these high costs of eggs? At this point, the group that represents the egg industry overall is pushing back, denying any wrongdoing, saying that the only reason eggs are costing as much as they do is because of the bird flu. But of course, this investigation is opening up some new concerns and some criticism of these companies, some of which have been profiting immensely over the last few years.
Well, for consumers, this is scary too. I mean, will this drive the price of eggs up even higher?
You know, I think to the extent we're seeing some panic buying, perhaps it could contribute to that. But again, this is kind of a pocketbook issue that is impacting all Americans, small businesses, and basically anyone who relies on eggs, like bakeries or restaurants. So it gets to the point that if it actually is the case that there is something going on here, that there is some corporate wrongdoing, it would be a big deal. At this point, though, I think it's worth noting that they are denying wrongdoing, and they're saying at this point that the main reason this is a problem is because of the high cost of is because of the bird flu.
Well, eggs are pretty important at Easter time. Any idea how long it's going to take them to do their investigation?
You know, generally speaking, these kind of antitrust cases take a while. We're talking about a few years. They could move quickly because of the political interest here. But again, I don't think it's going to come in time for Easter when egg prices generally peak. There are two times egg prices peak, Easter and Thanksgiving, and we're approaching one of those two over the next few months.
Peter, appreciate your time. Thanks so much for being with me.
Thanks so much for having me.
Live on the KSL Newsline, that is ABC News investigative reporter Peter Haralambous. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. Trouble spots, Ricky?
We do have a stalled vehicle on the 21st South Freeway going eastbound at 8400 West. It is blocking right lanes of travel. And this happens to be a tractor trailer, but UHP is there. You can get by. Just stay to the left. Now, for those who are traveling southbound I-15 in Salt Lake County, it is already getting busy and slow from 4500 south into Midvale and Sandy. But from the Southtown Mall all the way to Provo, you're looking at a nice and quiet drive. Northbound I-15, a damaged roadway brought traffic to a standstill. And now we're dealing with the leftover delays from that, from about 3900 south to the 6 south exit. Eric?
If you're westbound on the 201 highway and exiting to go south on Mountain View Corridor, you've got a crash over on the right. Let me just look at that real quick. But I do know that we've got a lane blocked there. The right lane is blocked. That's on the off-ramp itself. Now, once you get onto Mountain View, you do have delays starting at Parkway Boulevard, heading down to 3500 South, kind of a usual place for that. Northbound on I-15, we've got some slowdown, so brake lights going up to the north interchange, but that's about it. The rest of the way, all the way to Ogden, looking good. Dave's Bernina in Provo and St. George has incredible deals on a limited supply of school sewing machine trade-ins with warranties. The 1008 model is $399, and the Bernina 350 is only $499. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts out with spectacular 60s today. 62 the high, sunshine, high pressure running the show. Partly cloudy tomorrow, 63. Well, then we're up to 64. Mix of sun and clouds on Wednesday, but breezy out of the south. 53 with rain on Thursday. Valley snow possible on Friday, 40 degrees. 43 snow showers on Saturday. Sunday mostly cloudy, but maybe another storm by Monday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Beautiful afternoon for a walk. 61 degrees, a lot of sunshine downtown. 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Do you need new windows? Look, all glass pretty much looks the same to the naked eye, but if your windows aren't triple-coated, argon-filled and sealed double-pane glass, the cold is seeping in. You need to call Advanced Window Products. They use the highest quality glass and premium vinyl to create state-of-the-art windows and frames, and for 38 years, they build those frames right here in Utah. Custom crafted for Utah's climate. The best windows you can buy at prices 30 and 40% less than what the big companies charge because they cut out the middleman. They're the factory. They even give you a lifetime warranty, and right now as we head into spring, save an extra $2,500 off 10 windows or more. Custom windows that'll give your house a fresh new look and save you money on your heating and air conditioning. Advanced Windows offers 60-month 0% financing, even buy now, pay later, and an extra $2,500 off. Call for a quote. 801-850-9100. That's 801-850-9100, or go to advancedwindows.com.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Do you have some money in a savings account? If you do, I want to suggest that you earn more money on that money by transferring your savings account over to UCCU.
Utah Community Credit Union is offering high-rate savings options with yields up to 5.05%. That is a lot higher than any savings account.
Right, so your average savings account is 0.5%, 0.5%, but UCCU has these 9-month savings certificates at a whopping 5.05% rate of return.
Now, savings certificates, like a savings account, they're great ways to earn a safe return on your money, but the difference is a savings account, you deposit, you withdraw, but with a savings certificate, you just make the deposit and you let your money earn some money for you.
For 9 months in this case, or if you want to let it stay in a little longer and earn more money, there's a 15-month savings certificate as well. But either way, you're going to be saving so much money at UCCU.
5.05%, that's more than 5 times higher than a standard savings account.
Just go to UCCU.com, select a high-yield savings option, and supercharge your savings.
At Utah Community Credit Union, you're going to love where you bank.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Come on, the meeting's already started.
Sometimes it's important.
Last call, boarding gate number 9.
Sometimes it's urgent.
Trip for alarm.
Sometimes it's vital. Hospital treatment within 1 hour of a stroke can prevent lifelong disability. If you notice someone experiencing sudden weakness on one side or having a problem speaking, walking, or seeing, call 911 fast. Stroke. Know the signs. Act in time. A message from the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke.
KSL News Time, 3:55. We are watching Utah's money. Tesla stock is falling back to earth after skyrocketing shortly after the 2024 presidential election. MarketWatch reports Tesla saw electric vehicle sales in China drop more than 50% last month. The stock ended down 15%. Workers at 13 German airports went on strike today, canceling most of the flights. CNN reports all flights into and out of Berlin's airport were canceled. Workers say the strike is a warning because of a dispute on pay. Talks to discuss the dispute are set for later this month. Over 1 million Americans could see their electricity bills go up by almost $70 a month. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says the province is now charging 25% more for electricity shipped to Minnesota, New York, and Michigan in response to President Trump's tariff plan. The Dow was down 889 points, closing at 41,912. S&P was down by 155. The NASDAQ down 727 points. KSL News Time, 3:56, and that means time for Cougar Tracks. And here's BYU insider Mitch Harper.
BYU basketball closed out the regular season with a rivalry win over Utah. Cougars defeated the Utes 85-74, extending BYU's winning streak to 8 games. BYU scored 51 points in the second half to pull away from the Utes. It was a night to be remembered as BYU honored 4 seniors, including veteran guard Trey Stewart.
It's crazy. They always say, oh man, it comes up fast, and you're like, no, it's not. It's taking forever. This day is going by slow. But I'm just so blessed I got to play in front of all you. This amazing environment. I mean, you look up and just everyone's cheering. It's just one of the best environments of college basketball, so beyond blessed and grateful.
BYU now turns its attention to the Big 12 tournament, where they will be the 4 seed in the 16-team bracket. For more BYU basketball talk, listen to Cougar Nation tonight at 6, where we will take your phone calls right here on KSL. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars. KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. For years now, I've been telling you about Connecticut soft water systems that use 2/3 less salt than the others. But I've never told you exactly how they do that. Well, there are several ways, so consider this as part 1 in a series. Most of the softeners out there use a finicky, hard-to-adjust computer to guesstimate when to cycle, and it errs on the side of cycling too often, which means it'll burn through way too much salt way too soon. Connecticut is different. It has an all-mechanical system that measures the water precisely. No computer, no guesstimating, so it cycles only when needed. The result, Connecticut delivers perfectly soft water 24/7 using minimal salt. So why not save your lower back from carrying the 3 bags of salt when all you need is 1? Call Northern Utah's authorized Connecticut dealer, Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake. Call them now, 801-576-8600, or log on to softwaterutah.com. And tell them Doug sent you.
Let me ask you a question. You have a best friend? How big would it shock you if somebody told you that your best friend just killed somebody?
911, what's your emergency?
Someone on every line said they kidnapped my son, and they're demanding $500,000.
On September 12th, 1995, 12-year-old McKay Everett disappeared from his home in Conroe, Texas. It was a crime that shocked the community because the suspect was so unlikely, so unexpected.
Former high-ranking police official, he'd run for sheriff at one point.
Law enforcement personnel were pretty much split down the middle over whether or not he actually did this.
And to this day, McKay's mother, Paulette, still feels that justice was never truly served.
I've asked myself so many times, what in the world happened?
Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
KSL News Time, 3:59. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. And here's Ricky Meese.
We had a stalled vehicle blocking right lanes of travel eastbound on the 21st South Freeway in Magnet, 8400 West, but you could get by. On the westbound side, looking at a good drive from I-15, but it does start to get a little bogged down approaching 7200 West. Southbound I-15, busy and slow from North Temple to the I-80 201 junction, and then again from Murray to Sandy. And northbound I-15 still heavy and slow. These are residual delays going from Murray to downtown. All clear on I-15 in Utah County. Eric?
Got some slowdowns northbound I-15 coming out of downtown, heading up to North Salt Lake. Rest of the way to Ogden looking good. Your life outdoors at the International Sportsman Expo, March 20th through 23rd at Mountain America Expo Center in Sandy. More info at sportsexpos.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
An overnight low near 40 degrees. Highs for the first part of the week in the mid-60s. Right now, 61 degrees downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good afternoon. It's 4 o'clock at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shaleo, sitting in today for Jeff Kaplan. KSL's top story. A $50 debt turns violent in Tooele, sending one man to the hospital with stab wounds and landing 3 people in jail. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is live with details. Eric?
Maria, it all began when Tooele police spoke to a man at Mountain West Medical Center who was being treated for stab wounds to his shoulder, neck, and arm. Thanks to a tracking device from another investigation, detectives caught up with Kimberly Kreinen driving toward the hospital. When brought in for questioning, Kreinen admitted to a confrontation outside her home. Investigators found bloodstains in her driveway, and security cam footage from neighbors captured a fight involving the victim, Tyrell Brady, and Stephanie Gilmore. They found out Brady owed the victim $50. Brady and Gilmore deny stabbing him, but police found blood inside Brady's car. Brady and Gilmore were booked into jail on suspicion of attempted murder and assault, while Kreinen is accused of obstruction. Reporting live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Students at Sandy Elementary School were evacuated for 30 minutes after a small fire broke out in a bathroom. Battalion Chief Mike Kessel with the Sandy City Fire Department says a custodian put the fire out before firefighters arrived. Kessel says they're trying to figure out what caused the fire. KSL's top national story. The new DA in Los Angeles is doing a 180 on his predecessor by not advocating for the resentencing of the Menendez brothers. DA Nathan Hochman told reporters his office will move forward with the resentencing proceedings, but he doesn't think the Menendez brothers meet the threshold to be released from prison. He also says that they have told multiple lies over the years.
For now, while the Menendez brothers persist in telling these lies, for the last over 30 years about their self-defense and persist in insisting that they did not suborn any perjury or attempt to suborn perjury, then they do not meet the standards for resentencing.
Eric and Lyle Menendez have served more than 35 years of a lifetime sentence for the murder of their parents. Markets went tumbling today over the on-again, off-again tariff situation from imports from Canada and Mexico. The president has signaled he plans to impose retaliatory tariffs on most of the country's global trading partners next month. ABC's Alexis Christopher says tariffs on aluminum products could come as early as this week.
Steel and aluminum tariffs could go into effect. They're slated to happen on Wednesday. Think about all the things steel and aluminum go into, even the packaging of a lot of products here, canned goods. That could end up costing consumers more, and ultimately the steel that goes into cars.
The former U.S. Executive Director of the World Bank Group, Matthew McGuire, says it's clear that investors are starting to seek out other markets beyond the U.S.
It's important to understand that while our stock market is down about 5% this year, in Europe, it's up about 7 or 8. So clearly investors are taking a look at different places they can put their money and saying, we feel more confident about what's happening in other parts of the world than they do in the U.S.
The Dow ended the day down more than 2%. The NASDAQ was off by 4%. Pothole repair is getting real this week as UDOT is taking advantage of the good weather to take care of some trouble spots.
It's pothole repair season. That's from UDOT spokesman Mitch Shaw, who says 4 big potholes had to be repaired this morning on northbound I-15 in Davis County. Crews did rolling slowdowns between Parish Lane and Centerville to Park Lane in Farmington to quickly fill the holes. Another big hole was repaired on southbound I-15 in Sunset. Shaw says it takes longer to set up the lane restrictions than it does to make the repair. Now that we're moving into spring, he also said this is the time roads are fixed after winter weather and snowplows tear them up. Heather Kelly, KSL News Radio.
Potholes won't be a problem when we all have flying cars. And this week, 47G is demonstrating its air taxis right here in Utah, bringing the future just a little closer.
Air taxis have been in the works for over a decade. Executive Director of 47G's Project Alta, Chris Metz, says it's more than a gimmick for the 2034 Olympic Games that will take place in Salt Lake City.
To not be a novelty, we don't need to turn it on the week before. We need it institutionalized and operational maybe a year or two ahead of that.
Metz says it's a lengthy process to implement them properly, and it starts with safety, security, and economic viability. The plan to launch the taxis will be in steps. First, they're working on using them to ship cargo, and eventually they'll be able to transport people. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
You can see the air taxis for yourself on KSL News Radio's Instagram. Disney is releasing new details on their Monsters, Inc. inspired expansion. Monstropolis will take over the Grand Avenue area at the Hollywood Studios Park. Now, it will reportedly have a restaurant, a theater, and a ride. New plans show the ride will be inspired by the door warehouse, and the riders will be where the doors are, flying through the building and going through the winding back rooms. Now, Disney has not provided an expected opening day yet. KSL News Time 4:05. First look traffic. Here's Ricky Meese.
We have a report of a new accident southbound I-15 after the South Interchange and before 72nd South, and it's adding to the delays. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Coming up on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, since we don't have those flying cars just yet, Jeff is giving us his take on city driving. Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News is next.
This is Christian Staples with Arctic Spas. Summer is coming and your family wants to enjoy water in an Arctic Spa all-weather pool. Some people call them swim spas, but we call them all-weather pools because it's like a swimming pool that you can use all year long. My family has a tradition of hanging out in our all-weather pool and watching the neighborhood fireworks on New Year's Eve. You can create that family fun time right now with an Arctic Spa all-weather pool in just 2 days for installation. All the fun without the hassle of pool maintenance. Add in our automatic saltwater system to make it even more comfortable and more convenient. With 8 different models with different jet packages and options, specifically designed for Utah's hot summers and cold winters, we have the perfect all-weather pool for you no matter your budget. Come see the Arctic Spa all-weather pools at one of our Arctic Spa stores covering all of Utah in Salt Lake, American Fork, or St. George, and online at arcticspasutah.com. Arctic Spas, the only spa built for Utah's harsh climate.
What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and if you have a drain that's clogged or backed up, after you've tried the plungers and products, the next step usually involves some kind of drain snake or cabling equipment. You see, sometimes the blockage is far enough down the line that you need special equipment that most homeowners just don't have. That's where the Drains Department at Any Hour Services can help. A drain snake can clear most blockages and get the water flowing again, and clearing blocked drains is what our Drains Department does day in and day out. So if you're a homeowner with a drain line that's clogged or backed up and you'd like one of our drain technicians to come and snake the line for you, it's only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Any Hour Services will snake any drain line with normal access for only $29. Sinks, showers, tubs, toilets, floor drains, laundry drains, even that sewer main line that connects to the city. We'll snake any line for just $29. For help with your drain issues, call Any Hour Services at 801-443-7700. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time 4:08.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. A new study shows that one of the benefits of city living in Salt Lake is that it's an easy drive. The study by Traffic Index compared how long it takes to drive in various cities. The slowest, New York. To drive 6 miles in the Big Apple, you grind out 30 long minutes of beep and creep. Beep, 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 yeah. Meantime, a 6-mile drive through the very heart of Salt Lake City takes an average 9 minutes, 46 seconds, which raises a question. Are people using flying cars here? Because whenever I drive through the middle of Salt Lake, construction is constantly squeezing you down to one lane. The traffic lights take forever, not to mention all the jamokes making illegal left turns, gumming things up constantly. But this widely publicized survey says you can drive 6 miles in the time it takes to microwave a baked potato, which means more out-of-staters will move here thinking you can zip through downtown downtown while singing Love Shack twice. If you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says construction, squeeze left. 9 minutes, 46 seconds. But au contraire, you drive through downtown Salt Lake City while you're sitting still waiting for the traffic to move. The appropriate song to belt out would be Born to be Idle. Born to be idle.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. And here's Ricky Meese.
We have slowdowns waiting for you on southbound I-15 as you go from Murray at 4500 South, almost to 90th South, with a crash in the mix near 72nd. It's been moved to the right shoulder. Another patch of busy traffic as you're approaching 114 South, but that doesn't last too long. I-215 South Belt going eastbound. It's bogged down from Redwood Road over to the I-15 junction. We're clearing out from earlier delays on northbound I-15 now. It's still a little busy approaching 1300 South, but that's about it. I-15 in Utah County, all clear both directions between the Point and Provo. Eric?
We got some southbound slowing on SR 36 going into Tooele City, starting about 2000 north and heading down towards 1000 north. We did have an accident approaching 1000 north earlier, but that was on the northbound side. And you also have a little bit of southbound slowing on SR 36 going through Stansbury Park. If you're heading north on I-15 out of downtown, these delays from the earlier road work have sort of drifted north, so if they're from downtown up to the North Salt Lake area. Past that, everything looks good into Davis and Weber counties. With IFA's Crabgrass Preventer Plus Lawn Food, you'll stop those pesky weeds before they even start. It's the ultimate lawn owner power move. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
High pressure, sunny skies, and 60s today. It looks perfect. 38 in the overnight. We'll go to 63 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. South winds pick up on Wednesday, partly cloudy, 64. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And just a beautiful afternoon, 63 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And this portion of our news is sponsored by the UACPA, and we are talking tax tips. It's Monday. With me today, Margaret Blackburn, who is a CPA and the signing director at CLA. Thank you for being with me today.
Yeah, certainly.
So this is an important topic, dependents, especially for those folks who maybe are getting divorced. Talk about how a parent claims a dependent on their taxes.
So on their tax return, they just need to make sure that they have the Social Security number and the birth date for the dependent. Dependent can be a relative who relies on you for financial support, and there's very specific criteria for who qualifies, such as relationship, age, residency, and support tests.
Yeah, we always hear about our Social Security, but this is a Social Security number, but this is a place where you really want to have that number. It's going to just bring up some red flags, right?
Yeah, most definitely. The IRS wants to verify their eligibility and make sure that that you're able to take the tax credits and the deductions that you're allowed to do. It also ensures that each dependent is unique and prevents multiple taxpayers from trying to claim the same person.
Yeah, so what does happen if your about to be divorced spouse claims the dependent just like you do? I mean, what happens with your taxes?
So the person that has the custodial, the person that lives with the parent the most in the year. So 365 days, I mean, obviously it's odd number. Somebody lives with them more than the other. That's the person that gets to claim them. In reality, in practice, I often see the first person that claims them, the IRS accepts it, and then the second person that claims them has to prove that they were the one that was supposed to get it.
Yeah, a lot of us just don't know these rules, which is why it's so important to have a CPA, especially when we go through some major life changes.
Yeah, most definitely. The CPA is going to take you along the right road and have you deduct the right things and get the right credits that you're allowed.
I'm so glad you're here to answer questions for us today. You'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks for being with me. And always go to uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Do you know the secret to losing up to 1 pound of fat every day? At Salt Lake City Fat Loss, we know the secret. Our doctor-developed, easy-to-follow weight loss program helps you lose weight fast, naturally, and safely with no drugs or injections. No prepackaged meals, bars, shakes, or exercising required. Our program helps reset your metabolism so you can lose weight quickly and keep the weight off for good with an easy-to-follow maintenance plan that includes ongoing personal support. And our program costs half as much and works up to twice as fast than most other programs. Go to slcfatloss.com to schedule your free consultation now.
I'm Maria Chaleos, and I'm so glad to have Salt Lake City Fat Loss on my side. I'm down 40 pounds and staying accountable with their great app. Save $200 now at slcfatloss.com.
Many clients lose 20 to 30 pounds in about a month or two. That's up to a pound per day. Schedule your free consultation now at slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com. Results may vary.
KSL News Time, 4:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour first.
The governor is expected to sign a bill that would remove fluoride from the public water system. In response, the Weber Basin Water Conservancy District is now looking to adjust its processes. I'm KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson.
Second, fire investigators are trying to determine what caused 4 Teslas to go up in flames at a storage lot in Seattle overnight. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Traffic is a little busy and slow moving northbound I-15 from downtown to the North Interchange. But after that, you're looking at a good drive all the way up to Hill Air Force Base, southbound I-15, busy and slow. Murray into Sandy. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, after our storm, get ready for a gorgeous weekend. I'm Kevin Eubank.
Sunny and 63 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now time for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The tariff back and forth taking a toll on the markets, with investors concerned about the ongoing uncertainty. Businesses and Americans trying to gauge President Trump's policy. ABC's Karen Travers says confusion is also part of that equation.
You go back to Tuesday, you had those tariffs put into effect on Mexico and Canada, all of the imports coming into this country. On Wednesday, the president announced there would be a 1-month pause on the tariffs on automakers and auto parts. On Thursday, there was another month delay on some products coming in from Mexico and Canada, about half coming in from Mexico, 38% coming in from Canada, and that included almost all produce, so that was big relief there. But there is still a lot of uncertainty about what the president is going to do in a month on April 2nd.
The government's set to run out of funding at the end of this week, and lawmakers are now scrambling to find a fix to avert a shutdown. The House voting on a bill tomorrow. Key talks set to take place tomorrow in Saudi Arabia between the U.S., Ukraine, and Russian officials on a possible peace deal. Ukraine's President Zelensky arriving today. A source close to Zelensky says he will propose a partial ceasefire agreement. Eric and Lyle Menendez, in prison for the murder of their parents 35 years ago, will get a resentencing hearing in Los Angeles. The new district attorney today says he will not oppose it.
The DA's office is doing a 180 and saying that they want Gascon's argument for their release withdrawn. He is now putting in his own argument, saying that the DA's office under Nathan Hochman no longer supports that they be released because of resentencing, that they get parole because they have been rehabilitated. Their argument, he says, for one key reason, that they have not taken responsibility for their crimes of murdering their parents.
ABC's Alex Stone. Pope Francis' condition continues to improve as he battles double pneumonia. The Vatican says his condition now stable and he has no plans to resign. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. Secret Service personnel shot and injured a man who was carrying a firearm near the White House yesterday. Joining me now live is retired senior Secret Service agent Don Mihalik. Don, thanks for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
Describe for us what happened.
Well, according to what we've been told, an individual showed up around the White House that had suicidal tendencies. Sounds like they got some information, probably from a local law enforcement source, that the individual was traveling to D.C. with the intent of committing suicide. When he was identified by uniformed division officers of the Secret Service, he brandished a firearm, and the uniformed division officers ended up shooting him, injuring him, and from what I understand, he's in the hospital right now. So it seems this might have been more of a suicide by cop than anything else.
So a suicide attempt, why was the Secret Service called in? I mean, how often do they get called in by local authorities for these kinds of threats?
Well, it sounds like they had information he was going to travel to D.C. and specifically to the White House, and the uniformed division officers I think, found him at or near the White House, which is one of the patrol areas of the Secret Service Uniform Division. One of the things that a lot of people don't understand about the Secret Service is, to keep it simple, is basically two groups of people. There's the agents that everybody knows about that wear suits, plain clothes that they see around to protect these. And the Secret Service also has a very high caliber uniform police department called the Uniform Division, who, if you go to D.C. and you go around the White House, you'll see them. They wear white shirts, black pants. They're typically the first Secret Service entity people see whenever they approach a protective site, including the White House. So those officers patrol in and around the White House and some other areas of D.C. So they would have gotten a phone call from the local authorities if the local authorities had information that the individual's traveling anywhere near the White House, and be on the lookout for them.
It's fair to say that the Secret Service agents do a lot more than we think of or know of.
The Secret Service has a pretty wide mission and wide jurisdiction, and a lot of people don't realize how many different places the Secret Service are plugged into, especially in D.C., where there's a lot of cooperation between all the different agencies that work in D.C.
Don, appreciate your time. Thanks for being with me.
Thanks for having me.
Live on the KSL Newsline, that's retired senior Secret Service agent Don Mihalik. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. What's happening on the roads, Ricky?
We've had 2 crashes reported on I-15 very near the south interchange in the Murray Midvale area. One on the southbound side, one on the northbound side, and both are being reported out of traffic on the shoulder. But it's the southbound side of I-15 where it's really heavy and slow now from about 3900 south to 114th south. And then if you continue through Draper, you'll see some busier traffic as you're passing 146 south on the way to the point of the mountain. Northbound I-15, all clear from Draper to downtown. We do have some busy traffic remaining eastbound I-215 South Belt as you're passing Redwood Road, and a nice and quiet drive on I-15 in Utah County. Eric?
Eastbound I-80, the ramp to go northbound on the 215 westbound right by the airport. That's a usual spot of congestion and slowdowns these days, and you've got it again today. Northbound 15 coming out of downtown, you got some slowdowns in the Beck Street area heading up to the north interchange. But past that, the next spot of slowdowns you're going to see is up in Roy at 5600 south, northbound and southbound. A little bit of brake tapping there. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, endless possibilities with 3 locations. Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, and Performance Toyota, where excellence is standard. Start your search at performancebountiful.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Kevin Eubank is here with the 7-day forecast. Oh, you know how I feel about this day. So lovely.
I know. You like to just cut and paste.
I do.
Just keep this on repeat.
Absolutely. Just keep it going.
It is spectacular. Temperatures are going to stay mild Tuesday, Wednesday in the 60s. So partly cloudy, 64 tomorrow, 61 mostly sunny Wednesday, and then our storms come in. It's going to totally change on Thursday. Valley rain mixing with snow on Thursday and into Thursday night. Friday's kind of an in-between day, and then another potential storm on Saturday. Bottom line is highs in the 40s over the weekend with lows in the 30s. So savor the next 2 days in the 60s.
I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts.
There you go.
All right, Kevin, thank you. Right now, it's beautiful, 63 degrees downtown. 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Hey, Utah. It's the water boy here, Colson Firmage, a third-generation Culligan man. I'm not here to convince you that your home needs water filtration. It's obvious. Just look at the corrosion on your faucets and the buildup under the water dispenser on your fridge. Gross. At Culligan, we offer top-rated water solutions to protect your appliances, keep your skin moisturized, and make your water taste amazing. Whether it's installing a smartly efficient water softener with active leak detection or simply providing salt delivery to an existing water softener in your home or business, call us. Your drinking water may not have contaminants, but if it does, we can provide customizable water filters to reduce contaminants like lead and microplastics. So whether you're looking for an under-the-counter system creating alkaline water on tap, purified 5-gallon water delivery for your home or business, or one of our new bottle-free coolers with water filtration built in, our goal is to turn ordinary water into water you love. So give us a call today at 801-509-9686 or visit us online at culliganslc.com. Culligan, water you love.
Join KSL News Radio's Amanda Dixon this Friday, 3 to 5 at the Salt Lake NPS store at 1600 Empire Road, npsstore.com.
Progressive Home Quote Explorer lets you easily compare rates, so shopping for insurance might be the easiest part of owning a home. Definitely easier than this.
Psst, honey. Honey! What? Shh, there's a salesman walking up the driveway.
Oh, no, he's got a clipboard.
What do we do?
Get down.
Down?
On the floor, you...
Shoot, did he see us? Why are you breathing so loud?
Home ownership isn't easy, but with Progressive's Home Quote Explorer, shopping for home insurance is. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Seems everything costs more these days. Gas, groceries, and when's the last time you checked your wireless bill? Yikes. When it comes to big wireless, if you're staying, you may be overpaying. Here's how to get the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage without the big wireless bill. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Plans start at just $20 a month, and that's not a short-term promo. Our U.S.-based experts will get you switched and saving in about 20 minutes. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com and start saving today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing.
911, what's your emergency?
There's someone on the other line saying they kidnapped my son.
On September 12, 1995, McKay Everett disappeared from his home in Conroe, Texas.
There was no sign of forced entry. It was just as if McKay had walked out of his own free will.
And to this day, McKay's mother, Paulette, feels that justice was never truly served. Ransom is available now. Listen at ransompodcast.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
We do have some breaking news on KSL News Radio. This is coming to us out of Eagle Mountain. The Utah County Sheriff's Office says they have arrested a woman whose 2.5-month-old baby drowned in a bathtub. Investigators say Taylor Trusty admitted to drinking alcohol, then getting in the tub with the baby in a carrier next to her. She told deputies at some point she picked up the infant and put it in the tub on her lap and then fell asleep. Trusty was booked into the Utah County Jail for investigation of negligent homicide. We are watching Utah's money. Mortgage company Rocket is moving closer to become a one-stop shop for home buyers after agreeing to buy real estate company Redfin. Wall Street Journal reports the deal values Redfin at $1.75 billion. Redfin stock surged up 67% today after that news. Krispy Kreme is diving into St. Patrick's Day by giving away a pot of gold pass. USA Today reports the pass gives customers a dozen glazed donuts every month for a year. Krispy Kreme also released 4 new holiday flavors, including pot of gold, over the rainbow, Choco Shenanigans, and St. Patty's Swirl. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow was down 889 points today. It closed at 41,912. Painful numbers. S&P was down 155 points. The NASDAQ, though, the biggest loser, down 727 points. KSL News Time is 4:26, and this portion of our news is sponsored by the UACPA. Today we are talking tax tips with me, Margaret Blackburn, who's a CPA and the signing director at CLA. So we've been talking about dependents and tips for dependents. What happens if someone gets a divorce decree? Suddenly that changes things for their taxes.
Certainly. So oftentimes in practice, we see the divorce decree come through and it says the parents get to alternate years. You know, mother gets odd years, father gets even years. And actually, it's a facts and circumstances test from the IRS. So the person who has custodial custody for more than half the year is the person that gets to claim, regardless of what the divorce decree says. So what has to happen is the person that has custodial custody, they have to sign off. There's an IRS form they have to sign to release custody to the non-custodial parent. They can do that once for the duration of the child's dependency, or they can do that every other year. But yeah, it's not divorce decree specific.
When somebody has a change of life like this is so confusing. How do they stay up with the rules and know exactly what they need to do?
They need to have a CPA.
No doubt about it, right? Just too many things.
Yeah, definitely. A tax professional or a CPA.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone who's filing taxes for the first time with dependents?
I would say that they need to have all their necessary documentation. So it's a security card. I mean, that's not necessarily required, but it's nice for us because we see that no one has transposed a number, that type of thing. The proof of residency, where the kid lived, where the kid spent the night, and then making sure that they understand the rules for the dependents and talking to a CPA or a tax professional.
Where do people go for some reliable resources?
I would say the IRS website is a great place to go, irs.gov. Publication 501 on the IRS website has standard deductions, dependents, filing information. So I would say definitely a tax professional or a CPA.
Okay, I'll be talking with you again in a few minutes. Thank you. And as always, you can go to uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. And here's Ricky Meese.
Pretty jammed up if you're traveling I-15 southbound, trying to get anywhere from South Salt Lake through Sandy, especially at the South Interchange. You're going to see it's really crowded and slow. More heavy and slow traffic between Bangerter Highway and the Point of the Mountain. But after the point, all the way to Provo, you're looking at a quiet drive northbound I-15. Busy and slow from 2100 south to the 6 south exit, and some heavy and slow traffic westbound on the 21st South Freeway, 5600 west into Magna. Eric?
Northbound slowing on the west belt, approaching I-80 in the airport, and the ramp from eastbound I-80 to go north on the west belt, that's plugged up as usual these days. Common Spirit, hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
High pressure in control. Ongoing sunny skies today with a high of 62. Overnight dipping off to the mid-30s. 63 for tomorrow's high, partly cloudy skies. Warm and breezy on Wednesday, 64. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
You're listening to Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM
and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. It's 4:30 at KSL. I'm Maria Shaleo, sitting in today for Jeff Kaplan. Blue skies in downtown Salt Lake City and 63 degrees. KSL's top story this hour, and it is developing news. Utah County Sheriff's Office says they have arrested a woman whose 2.5-month-old baby drowned in the bathtub. It happened in the Pioneer Landing neighborhood of Eagle Mountain. Investigators say Taylor Trusty admitted to drinking alcohol, then getting in the tub with that baby in a carrier next to her. Now, at some point, she picked up that child and brought it into the tub with her, but then fell asleep. Now that the legislative session is over, cities, counties, and even water districts are figuring out how to implement all the new laws taking effect in Utah. We have team coverage, Eye on the Hill, beginning with KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson, and a new ban on fluoride in public water systems.
Weber Basin Water Conservancy District General Manager Scott Paxman says it's going to save them about $250,000 to $300,000 a year if they don't have to add fluoride.
That's chemical costs, that's manpower, that's operation and maintenance costs on the buildings.
He also says it'll protect his workers.
We've got operators that had severe migraines just because of they're walking in and out of the building every day.
But the American Dental Association says it comes at the cost of the public's dental health. In a letter, they've urged Governor Spencer Cox to veto the legislation. If he signs the bill, fluoride will have to be out of the water supply by May 7th. Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
The county clerk is voicing concerns over a bill waiting for Governor Cox's signature. Our team coverage continues with KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
This bill approved by the full legislature would make several changes by 2029, including requiring people to opt in to get a mail-in ballot and change the state's postmark deadline in hopes of enhancing election security.
I absolutely have concerns because we've been doing it one way for over a decade and now we're switching it.
Salt Lake County Clerk Lanny Chapman tells me they're now going to have to reteach thousands of people how the system works and will probably have to fix more ballot errors. But despite the concern, she says she's hopeful, telling me her biggest focus now
is to make sure our voters understand their rights, understand what they need to do to be able to continue to have their voices heard in our elections.
Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
A Utah lawmaker says his bill notifying parents when their kids download apps on their devices would have protected them from situations like what happened in Box Elder County recently. A district judge and a Tremont fire chief are both in jail after police say they found child sex abuse material on their phones from a chat app called Kik. Utah State Senator Todd Weiler told David Dujanovic this bill would add further protections for kids and teens on electronics.
In the future, these teens and even younger than teens will be required to tether their accounts to their parents. They're already doing that for kids under the age of 11. We're just taking that existing model and saying, no, this has to apply to all minors, not just the ones that you think are too young to accept terms and conditions.
Weiler's bill is waiting for the governor's signature. KSL's top national stories. The Republican-led House is expected to vote tomorrow on a measure to keep the government running through the end of September. But will the Democrats be on board?
The measure that would extend government funding is not a squeaky clean bill, as it does cut some domestic spending while boosting spending at the Pentagon. Still, the House Speaker expresses confidence.
The CR will pass.
And Mike Johnson hopes to do it with Republican votes. If he can put the ball in the Senate's court, it'll be up to Democrats there to decide whether to block it with a filibuster. They could withhold their support even if it means a shutdown, unless provisions are added aiming to prevent further DOGE-related cuts. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Fire investigators are trying to determine what caused 4 Teslas to go up in flames at a storage lot in Seattle overnight.
A steady stream of Tesla employees and insurance adjusters here at 4th and Spokane in Seattle's Soto district inside the Tesla storage lot. It's now the scene of 4 Cybertrucks charred and melted on fire last night amidst an ongoing backlash against Elon Musk and a wave of vandalism at Tesla dealerships and charging stations across the nation in recent weeks. Here in Seattle, nobody was hurt. The Seattle Fire Department is investigating.
That is KSL News Radio's Luke Ducey. KSL Sports. Utah Jazz are hoping to snap a 5-game losing streak as they visit the defending champion Boston Celtics. That game tips off at 5:30. Utah Hockey Club is back home as they host the Toronto Maple Leafs at 8 o'clock. The hockey club currently sits 4 points out of the final playoff spot. BYU football coach Kalani Sitake is about to follow in his mentor's footsteps and become the only second active football coach to be asked to give a school-wide devotional at BYU. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
LaVale Edwards was known for his fatherly advice to his players, and that was extended to the entire student body when he was asked to give it a devotional in 1976. Tomorrow, Kalani Sitake, who played during LaVelle's final 2 seasons, will be just the second coach to take to the devotional podium.
The devotional will also be unusual in that Sitake is right in the middle of spring football practice. Tomorrow's devotional begins at 11 a.m. KSL News Time, 4:35, and with First Look Traffic, here's Ricky Meese.
A new accident in Weber County at 1900 West, going northbound at about 5800 South. It had been blocking a right lane of travel. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still to come on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, Jeff's take on Hotel California. Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News is next.
If you're trying to decide which gutter protection to put on your home, don't just ask how they'll handle leaves. Ask how they'll handle ice. Tim Jr. here from RGS Exteriors, and that's right, ice. See, plenty of gutter guards are good at keeping out leaves, but most are made with flimsy materials that can bend, buckle, and break under the weight of too much ice. Kind of a big problem in an icy state like Utah, right? At RGS Exteriors, our exclusive gutter protection systems are built Utah tough. They're made with premium strength materials that hold up to 1,200 pounds of ice per square foot. Simply put, they're not going to budge. Our gutter guards are also certified to handle hurricane-level winds and rain. Mother Nature can't damage them. Guaranteed. Utah Tough Products. That's the RGS way. For a free estimate, call 801-280-3110 or visit rgsexteriors.com. That's rgsexteriors.com or 801-280-3110.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, $149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. $149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to the A to Z savings event at AutoZone.
Yeah, happy to be here. Can I get some rotors?
Would you like brake pads with that?
How much are the brake pads?
Free with the rotors.
Free. Really?
Really, free.
Okay, I also need some oil.
Would you like an oil filter with that?
Yeah, how much is that?
Free with 5 quarts of oil.
Free? Really?
Really, free. It's part of the A to Z savings event.
You might as well call it A to free.
At AutoZone.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
KSL News Time, 4:38.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. There's a song you've been hearing for decades, and for just as long, people have been trying to figure out what it's about. From the first guitar strum, Hotel California grips you with that string duet. But is there a real Hotel California? No. So what's it about? Out of curiosity, I did the deep dive and tore into the lyrics, and from the very first words, it's weird. Do you ever wonder what the warm smell of colitas was?
Warm smell of colitas rising up through the air.
It is a slang term in Mexico for marijuana buds. So are we talking about drugs here? Many claim the Hotel California is a drug rehab.
We haven't had that spirit here since 1969.
That reference? In 1969, California supposedly passed a law that banned alcoholic beverages in drug rehab centers. Before that, you could drink while you were getting weaned from drugs. And then, of course, there's the most famous line of the song.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Sure sounds like drug rehab to me. Some say it refers to Camarillo State Mental Hospital in California, but others see signs of conspiracy theories and even the occult. Others claim it's about the hedonistic excesses of the 70s. There's a Mercedes-Benz, pink champagne on ice, but whatever the song means, make no mistake, the Eagles, the band, created this confusion. For nearly 50 years, they've said, it's about whatever you want it to be about. So belt it out in the car, and if you want it to be about your kid's gymnastics team or your mom's birthday, whatever, knock yourself out.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together is brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. And here's Ricky Meese.
A delayed drive on southbound I-15. It starts as you're approaching 4500 south in Murray. You won't see better speeds till you're in Draper near 114th south. Even passing Bangerter Highway, speeds improving, but it's still a little busy. From the point to Provo, you're good to go, but northbound I-15 in Utah County getting a little crowded as you go from Pleasant Grove into American Fork. Eastbound I-80 busy between Bangerter Highway over to I-215's west belt, especially in that right lane, and the 201 clear westbound from I-15 until you get to 5600 west, and then it's a little bit clogged as you're going from 5600 west into Magna. Eric?
Crash in Roy. This is on 1900 west northbound approaching 5600 south. It's a busy street, and now two lanes are down to one. The right lane is blocked and sticking in that general area. You've got northbound I-15 slowdowns from Sunset up to close to that 5600 south exit. The rest of the I-15 trek looks pretty good from the north interchange to Ogden, but prior to North Salt Lake, you do have some slowing coming out of downtown through the Rose Park area and past Beck Street. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, get ready for a weather roller coaster. Today we're up, sunshine and 60s, and we'll be in the 60s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Storm will arrive on Thursday. We'll see valley rain mixing with some snow, and temperatures plummet for the end of the week. By Friday, Saturday, highs in the 40s with lows in the 30s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
And just a lovely 63 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And this portion of Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News is brought to you by the UACPA, and we are talking tax tips. We've been talking about dependents. With me, Margaret Blackburn, who's a CPA and the signing director at CLA. And first of all, who would we consider a dependent?
Most often it's going to be your children. But there's other situations where if you are financially supporting another family member, whether it's a parent or a nephew or a niece or, other situations that are specific criteria that qualify under the IRS.
This can be pretty tricky if someone's getting a divorce, though. How do they decide who gets to claim the children?
The custodial parent claims the children. So that's going to be the person they live with the longest during the year. If there's a tie, there's a tiebreaker, and the person that makes the most money claims the person, claims the child.
So these rules seem to change. How do people stay up with the rules? If their life is changing, they're now going to go through a divorce or some other life change, where do they learn more about the rules and resources?
Definitely get a CPA or a tax professional. Go to irs.gov. Publication 501 on the IRS website has a lot of good information as well.
Okay, what would be your advice for those people that are filing for the first time and have dependents? How would they go about this the best so they don't trigger any red flags?
I would say get your ducks in a row. Get all your social security number, birth dates, residency information to prove the child lived with you, and get a CPA or a tax professional to help you guide the way.
Anything else that you want to tell folks today?
No, I can't think of anything. I also that this information is general information and that it should not be considered a substitute for getting your own CPA or tax professional.
We appreciate you all being here today. Get the most out of your income tax preparation. When you hire a CPA, go to uacpa.org. Again, that's uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter? Right? And the best part? They accept Discover. Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Do you find yourself stuck in a timeshare? Get the real facts about the timeshare industry and your options for cancellation. Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, has put together a free information guide that reveals the secrets the timeshare industry doesn't want you to know, including the 5 ways to get rid of your timeshare. Call now and get this timeshare cancellation guide absolutely free.
Call 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688. 800-859-6688.
Are you thinking about buying medicine online? A search for online pharmacies yields more than 20 million results. But which ones can you trust? Medicines bought from unlicensed online pharmacies can be dangerous. You may get a fake drug, your condition may get worse, or you may experience a bad reaction. Don't put your health at risk. To learn how to find an online pharmacy that's safe and legal, visit fda.gov/BeSafeRx. A message from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration.
KSL News Time, 445. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
an Eagle Mountain woman is in jail accused of negligent homicide after her baby drowned in the tub while she fell asleep. I'm KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce.
Second, 1 person is in the hospital, 3 others are in jail after a stabbing in Tooele that police say involved a $50 debt dispute. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Right now I'm looking at a new accident. This is eastbound I-80 near Bangerter Highway. It's just after it. All vehicles do appear to be out of traffic over to the right shoulder, but there is slowdowns in the area. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunshine and 60s and the trend continues. I'm Kevin Eubank.
And right now, 63 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time for KSL's top national story.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franz. And the trade war widening. Canada's Ontario province today adding a 25% tariff on electricity that's sent to the U.S. Uncertainty over President Trump's tariffs and counter tariffs by the top trading partners also dragging down stocks. Matthew McGuire is former executive director of the World Bank Group and says businesses will be forced to pass on those costs to customers.
Consumers are 70% of our economy. So as more and more people worry about losing jobs, as more and more businesses are worried about increasing costs that consumers are going to have to pay for, there are a lot of people who are very worried right now about where we're headed.
Ukraine's President Zelensky meeting in Saudi Arabia with the Saudi Crown Prince ahead of high-level peace talks tomorrow with the U.S. A source close to Zelensky says he will present a partial ceasefire deal with Russia during negotiations. Another round of storms pushing through the south today. Authorities say a tornado touched down in Sanford, Florida. No one was injured. This is ABC News.
Time for the KSL In-Depth. Utah lawmakers passed 582 bills during this year's general legislative session. Inside Sources co-host Taylor Morgan gave Utah's Noon News a recap of the session.
Some of the bills that really were the most impactful, most important items of the session were not finalized until late on Friday, including really the budget. We didn't know for sure that we were going to have a tax cut. The state income tax was cut down to 4.5% from 4.55%. Not a big cut there, but still a cut, significant in a down budget year. We also passed a Social Security cut, a tax cut on all seniors making $90,000 or less per year. Those were significant. Ultimately, the legislature passed out a $30.8 billion budget. And that was not a done deal, really, until the last moments of the session on Friday. A lot of questions remained about the budget and about these tax cuts up until the end. Some significant highlights. We did a lot of things this session. We prohibited cell phones in our schools. We banned pride flags in government buildings. We invested in nuclear power for the future of Utah. The legislature passed multiple ballot measures, one that would raise the threshold to 60% for any initiative that would increase or raise a new tax. That will be on the ballot for voters to have the final say to pass that or not in 2026. We passed IVF for public employees. We banned collective bargaining by public employee unions. A referendum to undo that also was officially filed on Saturday, so we'll see what happens with that. Multiple bills were passed by the legislature to enhance coordination with ICE when it comes to deportations of criminals, and the legislature came to an understanding with the judiciary so that several bills were put off the table, others were allowed to go through. Ultimately, legislators cut a deal with the courts.
And Morgan told me that there are still a lot of questions about the vote by mail bill.
It ended up being a very different bill in the end from where it started. It still, based on what passed, it would still undo universal vote by mail starting in 2029. So there's some time, a lot of time between now and then to potentially change that bill. But I've been told the governor is taking a very close look at that bill this week.
KSL News Time, 449, traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. Let's check those slowdowns. Here's Ricky Meese.
Right now, crews are arriving on the scene of this crash involving 3 vehicles eastbound I-80 just after Bangerter Highway and on the way to I-215's belt route. We do have backups in that area from just before Bangerter to the West Belt. But this crash in particular is completely out of traffic on the shoulder. Delays southbound I-15 going from Murray to about 114th South. All clear northbound I-15, but in Utah County, northbound I-15 is filling in and slowing down from Linden up to American Fork. Eric?
And you still got a crash northbound on 1900 West in Roy, approaching 5600 South. So it's the right lane you're going to have to get out of. So that means 2 lanes down to 1. And sometimes we are seeing some delays there. Nothing real significant, though. If you're on I-15 through Davis and Weber counties, the one slow spot that we're seeing is in that same area from Sunset up to Roy and past that up to about the I-84 interchange. On as far as coming out of downtown, yes, we do have some brake lights as you go up to the north interchange. With Two Brothers Mattress, lowest price guarantee, and their 100-night trial, Two Brothers Mattress is your locally owned #1 choice in Tempur-Pedic mattresses. Learn more at twobrothersmattress.com. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast starts off extra warm, but a series of storms will impact the area. Tonight, 40 for the low, 64 and partly cloudy Tuesday, 61 and mostly sunny on Wednesday. Storm will arrive on Thursday. It'll come in as valley rain and mountain snow to start, and then mix with a little valley snow overnight Thursday into early Friday. Temperatures crash. We'll go from the 60s of the next couple of days into the 40s for highs and lows into the 30s on Friday and Saturday. Partly cloudy skies on Sunday, and with mostly cloudy skies next Monday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Sunny and 63 degrees downtown. 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
Is your toilet running? The 10-year-old inside wants me to say, then go catch it. But as a grown man, I know how annoying it is to hear the constant trickle of water from the bathroom. So call Any Hour Services. Their licensed plumbers can fix any problem. One time, we asked them to look at the water heater, and the guy was like, whoa. It was getting really old and creaky, and instead of ending up with 4 inches of water on the floor, we got a new water heater that perfectly meets my family's demands for hot water. Now, I know you're a little suspect when a guy comes into your house and says, well, you have to replace that. So I urge you to Google Any Hour Services and check out the 25,000 Google reviews. You get the best quality for your money for plumbing, for electrical heating and air, for all the major systems of your home. So instead of catching your toilet, make the call to Any Hour, 801-443-7400, or go to anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Oh, could this vintage store be any cuter?
Right? And the best part? They accept Discover.
Accept Discover? In a little place like this? I don't think so, Jennifer.
Oh, yeah, huh? Discover's accepted where I like to shop. Come on, baby, get with the times.
Right, so we shouldn't get the parachute pants?
These are making a comeback. I think.
Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. Based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it'd go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was gonna unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Hey, this is Dan, the laptop man from PC Laptops. Let me tell you an amazing story. Last week, a customer came in. They were a creative director for an agency, and they were frustrated that their old, slow computer wasn't processing their files quick enough. He had a big project due and could not afford any delays. Well, we hooked him up with one of our new, powerful 2025 desktops for only $999, and he was able to complete his project with ease. Take one home today. The new 2025 S1 desktop or SM3 laptop for only $999. You heard that right, $999. You get a blazing fast processor, 16 gigs of RAM, and over a terabyte of blazing storage for $999. What else do you get? Lifetime service warranty, and we have 12 months special financing on approved credit. Hurry in right now because supplies are limited, because at PC Laptops, we love you. Just check us out at PCLaptops.com. $999, PCLaptops.com.
KSL News Time, 4:55. We are watching Utah's money. NASA announced it's planning to close 3 offices. USA Today reports it's part of a phased reduction at the agency. NASA has not said how many jobs will be cut because of the closures. CVS is planning to open a dozen stores this year that only consist of a pharmacy. CNN reports the pharmacy chain hopes the smaller stores will allow them to bounce back after closing more than 1,000 stores and laying off thousands of employees. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration issued another wave of recalls last week, including recalls for over 175,000 Volkswagen vehicles. USA Today reports Volkswagen recalls are mostly for 2024 and 2025 Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport vehicles that have a loose engine cover. Dealers will reportedly address the recall for free. The Dow is down 889 points, closing at 41,912. S&P down 155, and the NASDAQ down 727 points.
I'm Rod with the Save Right team at Realty Path. I also own Save Right Mortgage. When building this new and disruptive business model, my attorney said, quote, "You'll rock the boat and make your competitors mad. There's no way they can compete with the value Save Right offers home buyers." She's right. Other real estate agents and mortgage lenders can't compete with Save Right. However, Utah home buyers love Save Right. Save Right homebuyers get bankbuster loans with below market interest rates. Save Right clients buy bigger, nicer homes. Their monthly payments are hundreds less. Bankbuster loans save homebuyers hundreds of thousands in interest. Start with a rate in the 2s. Call 801-APPROVE or visit SaveRight.com. Start with a rate in the 2s. Call 801-APPROVE or visit SaveRight.com.
It's true, anyone can paint a room, a wall, a side of a house. It's also true that anyone can groom your pet.
Aw, poor thing. Is he sick?
Well, anyone can trim the trees. Anyone can coach.
Gina, throw it at the net thing.
It's Charlie, and I'm pretty sure you're supposed to kick the ball in soccer.
Just because you can do something doesn't mean you always should. And when it comes to your home, not everyone can paint with character, integrity, and the knowledge that no one will ever do a better job. And that's who we are. I'm Adam with 5 Star Painting. New paint in your home takes that warm springtime feel to a whole new level. With 5starpainting.com, we offer hands-on management, and our partnership with Sherwin-Williams means we're painting with the industry's best materials. Trust our 20 years of experience, over 1,000 online beaming reviews, and our 2-year warranty that sets us apart from all the others. Remember, anyone can paint a room.
My masterpiece!
Oh, wow.
But the smart choice is 5 Star or nothing. 5starpainting.com.
How does a soccer club, born in an unlikely place,
Utah? You sure you want to do that in Utah?
built with players no one else wanted,
We knew no one believed in us.
reach the league's highest heights?
We finally did it. It was like just this feeling of getting to the top of the mountain.
How does that same team find a way to shatter expectations in the midst of a fight for its own survival?
Our club is burning to the ground as we speak.
I'm Amy Donaldson. And in a new podcast, Making of a Moment, the RSL story, we take a closer look at one of those iconic sports moments.
Soccer is a crazy game, and we saw it firsthand tonight.
And unravel how knowing the truth of these moments can transform what they mean.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now. Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared.
Prevent your child's next asthma attack. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor, because even one attack is one too many. Brought to you by the EPA and the Ad Council.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. Here's Ricky Meese.
A slow drive eastbound I-80 from Bangerter over to the West Belt with a crash over to the right shoulder. And then southbound I-15 delays from Murray to the top of Draper. Eric?
Coming out of downtown, you've got your usual slowdowns on I-15 going up to the north interchange. No real problems from that point until you get to the west side of Hill Air Force Base. And then it's slow from the Sunset Roy area heading up to Riverdale. By the time you get to Ogden, no problems. Whipple Service Champions, your cooling, heating, plumbing, drains, and electrical specialists. Whipple that away. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Forecast for the Wasatch Front calls for a few nice days before the temperatures take a big dip on Thursday. 90% chance of a rain-snow mix returning on Thursday. Right now it's 50 degrees, a lot of sunshine downtown.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Good evening. This is the 5 o'clock report. 20 minutes of uninterrupted news, commercial-free. I'm Maria Shaleo, sitting in today for Jeff Kaplan, KSL's top story. And it is developing news. An Eagle Mountain woman is in jail accused of negligent homicide after her 2-month-old baby drowned in the bathtub. Utah County officials say that she fell asleep in the tub with the infant on her lap. We get the latest now live from KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce. Becky?
Maria, the story is hard to hear, so I do want to put that disclaimer out there. The sheriff's office says they arrested Taylor Trusty after another child woke her up because the baby was floating face down and a little bit underneath her. According to the arresting documents, Trusty told deputies she'd been drinking alcohol before deciding to take the bath and originally had the infant in a bouncy seat next to the tub, but at some point picked the child up and put it on her lap and then fell asleep, something she told deputies she had a history of doing. Trusty was booked into the Utah County Jail. She's being screened for possible negligent homicide charges. Becky Bruce, KSL News Radio.
A Box Elder County judge accused of enticing minors through the chat app Kik is now facing formal charges. Judge Kevin Christensen says is facing 8 charges, all related to the accusations that he used the app to have sexually explicit chats with girls who said they were 13 and 16. He was booked into the Davis County Jail last week after the FBI investigation. Currently, no bail is set. A Utah lawmaker believes his bill, approved by the legislature, would have protected kids from that exact type of accusation coming out of Box Elder County. Utah State Senator Todd Weiler told David Dujanovic that his bill would require app stores notify parents before kids can download the app.
You'll just have a pop-up on your screen that says, so-and-so is trying to download this app. Did you want to accept the terms and conditions, yes or no? And then I think it would give you a link to the terms and conditions to review them. And then we give the parent an opportunity to say, what the heck is this app? What is it all about?
Weiler's bill is waiting for the governor's signature. Tooele police tell us a debt of $50 was at the heart of a stabbing that sent one person to the hospital and 3 other people to jail. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera is live with details. Eric?
Maria, Tooele police say the unnamed victim was dropped off at a hospital with serious stab wounds to his shoulder, neck, and arm early Sunday and told officers it happened while walking down Elm Street. Tracking device led investigators to a woman named Kimberly Kreinen, who was speeding toward the hospital. She admitted the fight happened outside her home, and video footage from neighbors confirmed it. Investigators found a trail of blood from the street up her driveway. They also learned Tyrell Brady owed the victim $50, which police say led to the scuffle. Police say they found blood stains in Brady's car, though he and another woman, Stephanie Gilmore, deny stabbing the victim. Sergeant Dane Lertle says the victim has been transferred to a Salt Lake hospital for further treatment.
The last update we have is that he is in stable condition.
Brady and Gilmore were booked on suspicion of attempted murder and assault, and Crinan is being investigated for obstruction. Reporting live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
Unified Police have identified the person found dead at the Revolve Apartments in Mill Creek last night. Police say Dominique Phillip was found dead at about 5 o'clock with what appeared to be a gunshot wound. Police say there is no immediate threat to public safety. KSL's top national story. A wild ride on Wall Street today, the worst day of the year for the market so far, as investors got nervous about on-again, off-again tariffs for Canada and Mexico.
When you look at those Wall Street numbers, I think for so long we saw investors unsure about whether these tariffs were just threats and whether or not the White House or the president was going to make good on those threats. What we've seen in the last few weeks is, of course, it's been chaotic. There's been a lot of back and forth, fits and starts, but nonetheless, the president making good on some of those threats and definitely not pulling back the threats of more tariffs going forward.
That is ABC's Mary Alice Park reporting. Analysts are saying the cost of new homes could jump with tariffs on lumber imports being enacted as soon as Wednesday of this week. ABC's Alexis Christophorus with that.
You need lumber for home construction. There are some home builders who say that if that tariff is implemented, it could add $10,000 to the cost of a new home. And we already know that housing prices are out of reach for so many Americans and near a record high.
Aluminum imports could also see new tariffs as soon as this week. The former executive director of the World Bank Group, Matthew McGuire, is warning that this could be the tip of the iceberg.
We haven't necessarily seen the impact of all the job cuts coming from the administration's focus on the federal government. We have seen a pullback in credit card spending, in retail expenditures, in restaurant expenditures.
On Wall Street today, the Nasdaq lost 4%. The S&P fell by 3%. The Dow ended the day off by 2%. As many as 4 Tesla Cybertrucks burned overnight in Seattle.
I'm looking at 2 Cybertrucks inside this storage lot, completely charred and melted. This is a storage lot full of Teslas just off the boat. They come here before the dealership or an owner picks them up. There's been a wave of vandalism at Tesla dealerships, on vehicles, and at charging stations around the country in recent weeks. Backlash against Elon Musk. The Seattle Fire Department is investigating this apparent attack.
That is KSL News Radio's Luke Ducey. KSL News Time, 5:05. First look traffic on the 5 o'clock report. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a lot more emergency crews arriving on the scene of this accident, eastbound I-80. It's after Bangalore Highway and approaching I-215's West Belt, but out of traffic on the shoulder. We also have a few more crashes popping up on southbound I-15, a new one at the South Interchange over to the right shoulder, and one on southbound I-15 in Utah County in Pleasant Grove. That one is over to the left shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 5:06. KSL Sports. BYU men's basketball team heads into the Big 12 Conference Tournament ranked number 17 in the country. Joining me now live is BYU insider Mitch Harper. Mitch, thanks for being with me.
Happy to be on.
How good has this year been for the Cougars?
It's been outstanding, especially down the stretch. You know, there were some ups and downs in the early part of the first season under Kevin Young, but you know, BYU over the last 8 games, they've won all of those games. They've got one of the longest win streaks in college basketball, and they're one of the hottest teams in the country at the moment. So BYU's riding high, and it's their highest ranking of the season, and they enter the postseason as the highest ranked team out west in college basketball.
So who helped power the team's success this year?
Richie Saunders, and you know, that probably comes as a surprise considering last year he was more of a glue guy, a role player. This year, he's been the star, and today it was announced he earned first team All Big 12 and was also named the Most Improved Player award in the Big 12 Conference. So an outstanding year for Richie Saunders, who was 4th in scoring in Big 12 play.
So how do you think they're going to do in the Big 12 tournament?
It's interesting because most likely they don't know their opponent yet, but they'll probably get a rematch against Iowa State. And that's always tricky, you know, getting the second chance to take down a team. But I think BYU will at least get to the semifinals, which would be the Final Four of the Big 12 tournament, and, you know, get a chance to play Houston, I would expect, if it all goes according to chalk and the higher rated seeds. And then, you know, I think they probably, I would expect, maybe get bounced there, but BYU's in a great position to do some damage in the NCAA tournament, which is ultimately the place where BYU wants to get the most wins.
We have a midday game on Thursday, but we don't know who we're playing, right?
That's right. 10:30 a.m. tip-off on Thursday, but it'll either be Iowa State, Cincinnati, or Oklahoma State. Those are the three teams that could be the possible opponent for BYU in their Big 12 tournament lid lifter.
You're going to be breaking it all down on Cougar Nation tonight?
That's right. We'll be taking phone calls 6 o'clock. We'll also be joined live by Yegor Demin, star point guard who got named the Big 12 all-freshman team. So he'll be joining us at 6:30.
All right. Thanks so much, Mitch. And that is BYU insider Mitch Harper. And again, join him at 6 o'clock tonight. KSL News Time is 5:08.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. A new study shows that one of the benefits of city living in Salt Lake is that it's an easy drive. The study by Traffic Index compared how long it takes to drive in various cities. The slowest, New York. To drive 6 miles in the Big Apple, you grind out 30 long minutes of beep and creep. Beep, 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 yeah. Meantime, a 6-mile drive through the very heart of Salt Lake City takes an average 9 minutes, 46 seconds, which raises a question. Are people using flying cars here? Because whenever I drive through the middle of Salt Lake, construction is constantly squeezing you down to one lane. The traffic lights take forever, not to mention all the jamokes making illegal left turns, gumming things up constantly. But this widely publicized survey says you can drive 6 miles in the time it takes to microwave a baked potato, which means more out-of-staters will move here thinking you can zip through downtown while singing Love Shack twice. If you see a faded sign at the side of the road that says construction, squeeze left. 9 minutes, 46 seconds. But au contraire, you drive through downtown Salt Lake City while you're sitting still waiting for the traffic to move. The appropriate song to belt out would be Born to be Idle. Born to be idle.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have slowdowns eastbound I-80. This is going from just before Bangerter Highway over to the West Belt, and in that is an accident over to the right shoulder, just kind of adding to the slowing there. Southbound I-15, bogged down and slow. This is from Murray at 4500 south to Bangerter Highway in Draper. Northbound I-15, a little busy and slow from 2100 south to the 6 South exit, and I-15 in Utah County. Southbound starting to get a little busy, Pleasant Grove and Linden, but northbound crowded and slow, leaving Orem up to American Fork. Eric?
I-80 out to Tooele County, not bad, but once you exit at Lake Point, SR 36, pretty slow this afternoon, going from Lake Point down to the Stansbury, the first two Stansbury Park stoplights. If you're exiting the 201 highway heading south, you've got slowdowns approaching 3500 south and a little bit on Bangerter Highway, too, in that same area in West Valley City. And northbound I-15, not bad from North Salt Lake and all the way up to the west side of Hill Air Force Base, where you're going to see some brake tapping going from Sunset into Roy. With nutrients blended for greener, healthier turf in our local soil, IFA's 4+ lawn care program is the ultimate lawn owner power move. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
As we head through the 5 o'clock hour, temperatures will be in the low 60s with plenty of sunshine. We'll stay there for 6 o'clock and then dip into the 50s for 7, low 50s for 8, and upper 40s by 9. Ultimate lows will be in the low 40s under clear skies. With your hourly forecast on the 5 o'clock report, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Sunny and 61 degrees downtown. KSL News Time, 5:12. The clock is ticking for another federal government deadline. Congress needs to make a deal to extend government funding by Friday night, or agencies could shut down, affecting everything from military paychecks to air travel. The House is set to vote on a stopgap bill as soon as tomorrow. The part of Washington, D.C. known as the Black Lives Matter Plaza is being torn down. Crews got to work with jackhammers today to take down some of the murals and street markers there. It's projected to take up to 8 weeks. D.C. Mayor Muriel Bowser says Congress intends to turn the space into a celebration of the nation's 250th anniversary next year. Look up and you may see the future of aviation. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla reports 47G's Project Alta is doing air taxi demonstrations this week.
Air taxis may still sound like a thing of the future, similar to a hoverboard or even smell-o-vision. But the executive director of 47G's Project Alta, Chris Metz, says this is real and it's happening now. and it didn't pop up overnight. Met says it's been and will continue to be a lengthy process, which is exactly what it needs to be.
We don't want to just bring it to the state and say, good luck, everybody. We want to make sure that it's built on an infrastructure of safety and security and economical viability.
The air taxis are expected to be fully operational in the state by 2034, just in time for the Salt Lake City Olympic Games. But they won't be launching overnight. It will be a multi-step process to build up to human transportation. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Bike riders in Riverton will soon be getting more bike lanes. Riverton City and UDOT officials announced that they are putting in bike lanes along 134 South from 2700 West and 23rd West starting this Thursday. Officials say the road will still be open, though there may be some restrictions every once in a while. Now they hope to have the bike lanes finished in May. UDOT says it's pothole repair season, which means you could see more freeway traffic stop for repairs in the coming days. KSL News Radio's Heather Kelly has more.
4 big potholes on I-15 northbound in Davis County prompted UDOT to do rolling stoppages this morning between Bountiful and Farmington to fix them. Spokesman Mitch Shaw says the dry weather and sunshine make it the best time to repair the roads. He adds springtime is pothole repair season.
Crews also fixed a pothole on I-15 southbound in Sunset this morning, causing unusual delays in that area. Trending on social media, an international flight leaving out of Chicago towards India had to turn around after 8 of its 12 toilets were clogged. Air India told NBC Chicago clothes and other items were flushed down the toilet and stuck in the plumbing. The airline gave all passengers hotel accommodations and alternative flights. Airline officials say this is the first time something like this has happened. They urge passengers use airplane bathrooms the way that they are intended. KSL News Time, 5:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
a local county clerk is voicing concerns with a bill expected to be signed by Utah's governor that'll make huge changes to our state's vote-by-mail process. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, UDOT's been doing rolling traffic stoppages to help deal with big potholes on I-15. They stopped traffic to fix 4 of them today in Davis County. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Some slower speeds going from downtown to the north interchange, and in Utah County, northbound I-15. It's bogged down from Orem to American Fork. Plus, more emergency crews arriving on the scene of this crash eastbound I-80 prior to I-215's West Belt. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Extra warm weather today and do it again tomorrow. I'm Kevin Eubank.
Sunny and 61 degrees downtown. Now time for at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, and now time for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Chuck Severson. Canada taking action against the threat of U.S. tariffs. Ontario province adding a 25% tariff or tax on electricity sent to the U.S. Uncertainty over President Trump's tariffs and tariffs in retaliation by top trading partners causing a sell-off on Wall Street. The S&P 500 dropped 2.7% to drag it close to 9% below its all-time high, which was set just last month. The Dow dropped 890 points or 2.1%. after pairing an earlier loss of more than 1,100. The Nasdaq lost 4%. Matthew McGuire, former executive director of the World Bank Group, one of many saying businesses will be forced to pass on the cost of tariffs to customers.
What the Trump administration has done thus far is focus on 2 things, really. One is increasing unemployment by letting more and more federal workers go. And the second is by raising costs on business by talking about tariffs that will increase their input costs quite a bit.
The White House statement says business leaders have responded to President Trump's agenda with trillions in investment commitments that will create thousands of jobs. Latest on the Russian-Ukraine war is a potential offer, says ABC's Patrick Reevell.
A source close to President Zelensky told ABC News Ukraine will propose a mutual pause on long-range strikes from the air and sea when it meets with U.S. officials in Saudi Arabia on Tuesday. The source said Ukraine wants the partial ceasefire to test if Russia would respect it. Russian officials so far publicly, though, have not signaled support for the idea, which was first floated by France. President Zelensky has now arrived in Saudi Arabia to meet with its ruler, but he will not take direct part in the U.S. talks on Tuesday.
A cargo ship hit a tanker taking jet fuel for the U.S. military off eastern England, setting both ships on fire, sending fuel pouring into the North Sea. All but one of the 37 crew of the two ships were brought safely ashore. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. Highs are expected to be in the 60s for most of this week, but what does that mean for avalanche conditions? Greg Gordon with the Utah Avalanche Center gave me during Utah's Noon News the forecast.
In most of northern Utah, there's a moderate avalanche danger. On a scale of 1 to 5, Maria, that's a level 2, and that means that human-triggered avalanches are still possible on some of those buried weak layers, anywhere from 1 to 4 feet deep. And then those solar aspects also are going to come to life. And then the Manti skyline and the western Uintas have a similar snowpack, and there it's considerable. So that's a level 3, and that means that human-triggered avalanches are likely. So, yeah, it's still a little tricky out there. And, you know, Maria, it might feel like spring down here, and it's going to be feeling that way into Wednesday. But then we've got a cold winter storm slated for Thursday, and we expect avalanche conditions to change accordingly.
Gordon says while avalanche danger may not be high, it's important for people to still be careful.
It's a balance. And the north half of the compass, after this series of storms that started Valentine's Day, they're starting to settle and they're becoming a little stronger, you know, not completely out of the woods there. And then as we turn over to those solar aspects, those sunny aspects with daytime heating, you'll definitely want to get off and out from under them.
Gordon says you can keep track of avalanche danger levels by visiting UtahAvalancheCenter.org. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. An update now with Ricky.
We're going to start in Utah County where we do have delays on I-15. On the southbound side, it stretches from 5th East, American Fork to Linden, and northbound, that's packed in and slow, leaving Orem up to American Fork, exiting from I-15 to go westbound on Pioneer Crossing. That's now bogged down around those intersections between I-15 and Saratoga Road. Then more northbound, busy and slower traffic on I-15 going from SR 92 to the point of the mountain. In Salt Lake County, it is a slow drive southbound I-15 from South Salt Lake to Draper, and some westbound slowing on the 21st South Freeway, Redwood Road to Bangerter, and 5600 west into Magna. Eastbound I-80, an accident just after Bangerter Highway over to the right shoulder. Eric?
Northbound out of downtown I-15 is sluggish, going from downtown up to the Beck Street area. By the time you get the north interchange, progress starts to improve, and you'll be that way for a while. In fact, I can't see any slowdowns from that point all the way up to Ogden. The city streets in Ogden are getting a little bit busy in some spots. Washington Avenue, for instance, approaching 24th Street northbound and southbound, that's a little bit busy. And Tooele County still slow as you head from Lake Point on SR 36 southbound to Stansbury Park. Don't let your customers march into your business with madness because your parking lot is a loser. Buzzer beat the weather or call GoPave Utah. They're a slam dunk for asphalt repairs and maintenance. GoPaveUtah.com. Eric Butler on the KSL Traffic Center.
Get ready for some weather whiplash in the 7-day forecast. We're starting off very mild, temperatures in the 60s, and we're going to stay there on Tuesday and Wednesday with overnight lows in the 40s. A storm will arrive on Thursday. It'll be valley rain and mountain snow, and then some valley snow potential early on Friday morning. The problem is the temperatures drop. We'll go from the 60s of the next few days into the 40s for highs on Friday and Saturday with lows in the 30s. We'll get back to the 50s early next week. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Sunny and 61 degrees downtown. 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
This is Derek Miller speaking on business. Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital in Salt Lake City provides world-class specialty care for children, making a difference both locally and across the country. Hospital President Dustin Lipson joins us to share how the community can further support their vital mission.
Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital began with an act of compassion for a child struggling on crutches. 100 years later, it's recognized as one of the best pediatric hospitals in the country, providing expert care to 100,000 children annually. This success wouldn't have been possible without a generous community. Utahns understand that investing in children's health offers the highest return on investment for families, communities, and businesses alike. When Aflac partnered with the Atlanta Children's Hospital, it wasn't just kids and families who benefited. The business did too, with improved morale and employees feeling more connected to the organization and community. I invite our local businesses to get involved. You can make a difference at Intermountain Primary Children's Hospital by volunteering, fundraising, or sponsoring a program. There's a role for businesses of every size. Join us in building a brighter future for children and communities. Reach out at primarychildrens.org and click on Donate.
Primary Children's Hospital provides vital care for children while supporting families and advancing pediatric health. With community support, they can continue making a lasting impact on the well-being of children and families in need. I'm Derek Miller with the Salt Lake Chamber, speaking on business.
It doesn't matter if your only neighbors are wildlife or just wild in general.
I would propose that amendment.
If you work from home or work is technically at home, every homeowner can save money by getting a ThermWise home energy plan from Enbridge Gas. Discover ways to make your home more energy efficient and apply for rebates if you purchase any energy efficient appliances. Schedule a home energy plan from Enbridge Gas at thermwise.com.
Comcast Business helps turn today's small businesses into engines of modern business. It's how restaurants become reliably up and running neighborhood favorites. How retailers become seamlessly restocking, cyber-securing, must-visit shops. And how healthcare offices become the data managing caregivers that we all depend on. With reliable connectivity, enhanced cybersecurity, advanced fiber solutions, and Wi-Fi backup, Comcast Business is powering the engine of modern business. Powering possibilities.
Now through April 21st, new customers can get started with 150 megabit internet and Security Edge for $49.99 a month for 12 months with a 2-year agreement. Plus, ask how to get a $500 prepaid card on a qualifying internet package. Call today. Restrictions apply. Not available in all areas. Requires enrollment in paperless billing and automatic payments with bank account. Equipment, taxes, and other fees extra and subject to change. Early termination fee applies.
Any Hour Services free furnace sale is going on right now. If you haven't scheduled your free estimate yet, do it now. Call Any Hour Services today or schedule online at anyhourservices.com.
KSL News Time, 5:25. We are watching Utah's money. Over 1 million Americans could see their electricity bills go up by almost $70 a month. Ontario Premier Doug Ford says the province is now charging 25% more for electricity shipped to Minnesota, New York, and Michigan in response to President Trump's tariff plan. Tesla stock is falling back to earth after skyrocketing after the 2024 presidential election. MarketWatch reports Tesla saw electric vehicle sales in China drop more than 50% last month. The stock ended down 15%. Workers at 13 German airports went on strike today, canceling most of the flights. CNN reports all flights into and out of Berlin's airport were canceled. Workers say the strike is a warning because of a dispute on pay. Talks to discuss the dispute are set for later this month. On Wall Street, the Dow was down 889 points, closing at 41,912. S&P down 155. The NASDAQ down 727 points. The state of Texas and its solidly Republican legislature have taken a cue from Washington, setting up a government efficiency committee and actually calling it DOGE.
The Texas House Committee on Delivery of Government Efficiency has, among its duties, oversight over the newly formed Texas Space Commission. Its vice chair is the general manager of the SpaceX Starbase.
That's concerning.
Democratic State Representative Ana Maria Rodriguez Ramos says the Space Commission hands out state money and
almost 20% of the grants given were people on your board,
including a $7.5 million grant that went to SpaceX. Jim Ryan, ABC News, Dallas.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Are they promising you up to 10% growth per year guaranteed for your retirement income? If not, you need a new financial advisor. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hard-working folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 up front or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't work when you're supposed to be retired. And if any financial advisor tells you it's too good to be true, they simply don't have the options we do. Call Trajan today at 801-899-7600.
Annuity guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company.
When you choose Performance Automotive in Bountiful, you're choosing selection, convenience, and exceptional service. With 3 locations, Performance Ford Lincoln, Performance Honda, and Performance Toyota, Performance Automotive is here to serve your needs. Performance Automotive in Bountiful, where excellence comes standard. Start your search at performancebountiful.com. With 415,000 Utahns and 1 in 6 Utah kids facing hunger, Utah Food Bank, Macy's Grocery, Lee's Marketplace, and Lynn's need your help to fight hunger statewide. Simply fill a bag with non-perishable food donations and put it at your doorstep by 9 a.m. on Saturday, March 15th to support the Feed Utah Food Drive. Donations will be picked up by volunteers and can be the difference between hunger and hope. Learn more about how you can be a part of the statewide effort at utahfoodbank.org/feedutah.
Healthcare with human kindness is here. It's at Common Spirit Health. Hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advance healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Together, we have a common purpose, partnering with you in health and healing using powerful medicine, powerful technology, and the greatest power of all, human kindness. You'll know it when you see it, because human kindness is in every care site and in every caregiver. Common Spirit Health. Hello, human kindness.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. Let's get an update now with Ricky Meese.
Crews are clearing a crash about 3900 west, 1900 south. It is heavy and slow westbound on the 201 from about 9th west to Bangerter and 5600 west to Magna. Delays southbound I-15 leaving South Salt Lake all the way to the point of the mountain. Eric?
And you got the eastbound slowdowns approaching the 215 west belt. If you're on I-80 and that crash is still being cleaned up. Northbound on the 215 going by the airport, that's sluggish for a little bit. By the time you get to the Legacy split, you'll be back up to a normal pace. And it looks good there all the way up to Ogden on any of the major freeways in Davis County. Our 100th spring is right around the corner, and Murdoch Chevrolet can help you take those curves in style. Right now, receive 5.9% for 84 months on the new heavy-duty Silverados. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Beautiful day across the state of Utah with temperatures back in the 60s in Salt Lake. Overnight, look for a few clouds and a low of 40, partly cloudy and 64 on Tuesday. Mostly sunny, 61 Wednesday, but a storm will arrive on Thursday. It'll bring a rain-snow mix as temperatures fall over 20 degrees. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
You're listening to Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM
and 1160 AM.
Good evening. It's 5:30 at KSL. I'm Maria Shalao sitting in today for Jeff Kaplan. A lot of sunshine in downtown Salt Lake City, 61 degrees. KSL's top story. Wall Street just had its worst day of 2025 so far. Stocks tumbling over fears of a widening trade war and a possible recession. ABC's Mary Alice Parks reports those losses were fueled by worries over how far the economy could suffer under President Trump's tariff plan.
He's doubling down, defending his moves, defending the idea of tariffs, saying that they will, in the long run, be good for U.S. job creation, be good for onshoring, bringing back manufacturing to the United States, but really downplaying this concern that in the short term, they could also include an increase in prices for consumers. Of course, that's what companies, that's what investors are worried about, that companies are going to be forced to pass on the price of these tariffs to consumers in the form of higher prices.
The Dow lost more than 2% today. The S&P 500 lost about 3%, and the Nasdaq dropped 4%, its worst day in 10 years. Other national stories we are following. The House is expected to vote tomorrow on a GOP-crafted spending bill that would avoid a government shutdown at the end of the week. ABC's Stephen Portnoy reports.
Beyond a few tweaks cutting some domestic spending and boosting it at the Pentagon, the bill mostly keeps government agencies funded at their current levels. But House Democrats, who typically vote to avoid shutdowns, say they won't be on board this time because there's nothing in the bill to prevent future DOGE-related cuts. Should it pass on a party-line basis in the House, at least 8 Democrats in the Senate would have to sign on to break a filibuster and avoid a Friday night shutdown.
They also say this government funding package doesn't do anything to protect entitlement programs, specifically Medicaid, which they say is on the hook for serious cuts. The governor is expected to sign a bill that would ban the use of fluoride in the public water systems. KSL News Radio's Heather Peterson is live with how one local water district would have to adjust.
The Weber Basin Water Conservancy District General Manager Scott Paxman tells KSL TV they will have to work closely with state and federal agencies like the EPA to remove fluoride.
The removal,
the transport and disposal of the fluorosilicic acid is very regulated because it is a hazardous waste, a hazardous material.
Paxman says not using fluoride would save them about $250,000 to $300,000 a year, but the American Dental Association is urging Governor Spencer Cox to veto the bill because they say removing fluoride increases dental diseases and the costs associated with them. But if he does sign it,
The law doesn't take effect till May the 7th, so we'll be feeding fluoride until then.
Heather Peterson, KSL News Radio.
Continuing our coverage, Eye on the Hill, a measure that would mean you have to opt in to vote by mail starting in 4 years is waiting for Governor Cox's signature. But at least one county clerk is worried about what that bill will do.
There's a long road ahead of us.
Salt Lake County Clerk Lenny Chapman tells me she's concerned because whenever you drastically change the system, you have to re-educate voters on how it works and how they can make sure their votes are counted. She says her concerns are not grave, but she does think this will lead to poll workers having to cure or fix more ballot mistakes by the time the changes are implemented.
That is KSL News Radio's Adam Small reporting. Chapman says she's hopeful for a smooth transition and that the bill's sponsors are open to collaborating. Salt Lake City police have arrested a man accused of selling fentanyl near a local library. Police say Aaron Hall admitted to possessing illegal substances. He was accused of having more than 300 suspected fentanyl pills on him. Police booked Hall into the Salt Lake County Jail. KSL Sports. Utah Jazz are hoping to snap a 5-game losing streak as they visit the defending champion Boston Celtics. That game tips off right now. The Utah Hockey Club is back home as they host Toronto Maple Leafs at 8 o'clock, and the hockey club currently sits 4 points out of the final playoff spot. BYU men's basketball is jumping 6 spots in the latest AP Top 25 poll to number 17. That ranking makes them the highest-ranked team from the Mountain and Pacific time zones headed into the tournament season. BYU football coach Kalani Sitake is about to follow in Lavelle Edwards' footsteps by becoming only the second current football coach to address the school during a campus devotional.
Lavelle Edwards was known for being a fatherly figure to his players and giving plenty of life advice. And he was asked to bring that advice to the entire student body back in 1976. That speech now lives on, posted on YouTube. And here's a clip of what he told his wife about being asked to speak.
I wanted to make sure that it was something very special. And she said, well, honey, just look at it this way. If they wanted something real special, they'd never ask you.
Kalani Sitake will now get his chance to share words of wisdom when he takes the podium tomorrow morning at 11. Sitake was coached by Lavelle, and he often says he bases his coaching style today on what he learned from the Hall of Fame coach over 2 decades ago. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time 5:35. First look traffic. Here's Ricky Meese.
We do have slowdowns on I-15 in Utah, Salt Lake, and getting into Davis County. Plus, the final cleanup of the crash eastbound I-80 after Bangerter Highway on the right shoulder. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Coming up on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, Jeff's take on Hotel California. Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News is next.
At JCW's, we think tipping might be getting a little out of hand. Like when you're asked to tip at the register before you've even been served, or when you're at the yogurt shop and find yourself serving yourself. And don't even get us started on frosted tips making a comeback. That's why at JCW's, when you pay for a 3rd-pound ranch bacon cheeseburger, that's what you pay. And no one at the register is going to stare longingly at you while you awkwardly maneuver through the tip screen for food you don't even have yet. Honestly, we're just happy to see you at any of our 5 locations in Provo, South Jordan, Lehigh, Harriman, and American Fork. So come on in and enjoy some quality time and great food with family and friends. And we promise, we won't be pushing you for a tip.
Hey, this is Chris with JCW's, and we just want to say thank you, and especially to our loyal customers. We want you to know that at JCW's, your business is all the tip we need. JCW's, quality and a lot of it.
Life can feel hard or overwhelming sometimes, but you don't have to face things alone. Getting help for yourself or someone you're worried about starts with a call or text to 988, where you always have someone to talk to, someone to help you, and somewhere safe to go. 988 Utah is here for anyone experiencing mental health challenges or emotional distress. 988 Utah can even help you navigate how to support your struggling loved ones. Whether you're struggling with anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts, Trained professionals are ready to listen and provide free, confidential support 24/7. Utah, don't hesitate to call or text 988 for you or someone you care about. The caring staff at 988 Utah can connect you to the right resources. Learn more at 988.utah.gov.
On the surface, it seemed like just another Cinderella story.
A team that was predicted to finish dead last is now waiting to play the first round of the playoffs.
But Real Salt Lake's 2021 playoff run was so much more than what happened on the pitch.
Our club is burning to the ground.
This is the tip of the iceberg. Making of a Moment, the RSL story, is available now.
I just kind of got chills right now thinking about it.
Follow us at makingamomentpod.com or wherever you get your podcasts.
KSL News Time, 5:38.
This is My Minute of News, brought to you by Any Hour Services, electrical, plumbing, heating, and air, anyhourservices.com. There's a song you've been hearing for decades, and for just as long, people have been trying to figure out what it's about. From the first guitar strum, Hotel California grips you with that string duet. But is there a real Hotel California? No. So what's it about? Out of curiosity, I did the deep dive and tore into the lyrics, and from the very first words, it's weird. Do you ever wonder what the warm smell of colitas was?
Warm smell of colitas rising up through the air.
It is a slang term in Mexico for marijuana buds. So are we talking about drugs here? Many claim the Hotel California is a drug rehab.
We haven't had that spirit here since 1969.
That reference? In 1969, California supposedly passed a law that banned alcoholic beverages in drug rehab centers. Before that, you could drink while you were getting weaned from drugs. And then, of course, there's the most famous line of the song.
You can check out anytime you like, but you can never leave.
Sure sounds like drug rehab to me. Some say it refers to Camarillo State Mental Hospital in California, but others see signs of conspiracy theories and even the occult. Others claim it's about the hedonistic excesses of the 70s. There's a Mercedes-Benz pink champagne on ice, but whatever the song means, make no mistake, the Eagles, the band, created this confusion. For nearly 50 years, they've said, it's about whatever you want it to be about. So belt it out in the car, and if you want it to be about your kid's gymnastics team or your mom's birthday, whatever, knock yourself out.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
Jeff Kaplan's Minute of News, only on KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. Here's Ricky Meese.
We are still dealing with delays on that southbound drive of I-15 as you go from 4500 South Murray through Draper and on the way to Bluffdale. Northbound I-15 clear from the point of the mountain to South Salt Lake, but from 33rd South to the 6th South exit, it's some crowded and slow traffic making its way to downtown. Westbound on the 201, we've cleared out between I-15 over to 5600 West, but still slow from there into Magna. For Utah County drivers, delays southbound I-15, Pioneer Crossing, American Fork to Linden, and northbound I-15 slow from Orem up to 5th East, American Fork. Eric?
Got a couple of slow spots emerging in Davis County, northbound, where we usually don't see it. For instance, northbound Legacy Parkway going by from 500 South up into West Bountiful. And on the West Davis Highway, where we never see any kind of slowing, we do have some right now. It's just west of the Shepherd Lane, Burton Lane area, getting up as you head up towards the Layton area in general. That's where it starts to improve, and the rest of the way you're not going to have any problems. Whipple Service Champions, your cooling, heating, plumbing, drains, and electrical specialists. Whipple that away. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
Well, get ready for a weather roller coaster. Today we're up, sunshine in 60s, and we'll be in the 60s on Tuesday and Wednesday. Storm will arrive on Thursday. We'll see valley rain mixing with some snow, and temperatures plummet for the end of the week. By Friday, Saturday, highs in the 40s with lows in the 30s. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Right now, blue skies and 63 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. And still to come on Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News, Zions Bank Chief Economist Robert Spendlove is going to tell us how close we are to a recession. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and the KSL News Radio app. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
This Monday Tax Tip is brought to you by Susan Spears, CEO of the Utah Association of CPAs.
Don't let claiming dependents derail your tax return. Missing a Social Security number? That's a major roadblock. You must provide one for every dependent. And for divorced parents, only one parent can claim a child. Both claiming the same child triggers IRS red flags, leading to frustrating delays and extra paperwork. If you're divorced, talk to your co-parent. Get on the same page about who's claiming the child. A little communication now saves big headaches later. Best advice? Don't go at it alone. A CPA can be your tax season ally. They understand the rules, answer your questions, and ensure you get every deduction you deserve. Streamline your taxes and avoid those costly roadblocks. Contact a CPA today for a smooth ride.
Get the most out of your income tax preparation when you hire a CPA. Go to uacpa.org to find a CPA that's right for you. Listen to KSL on Monday for more tax tips from the Utah Association of CPAs.
Over 3/4 of Americans suffer with foot pain every day. But Foot Solutions in Orem is here to give back your quality of life. Meet Patty.
I'm Patty from Saratoga Springs. I'm 74 years old. I just one day felt like I had a really bad stone bruise on the bottom of my foot, so I actually went to the doctor, and he goes, "You've got a severe case of plantar fasciitis." I'm really an active person. I work outside a lot in my yard. I like to kayak, and it was slowing me down from being able to launch my kayak. I could hardly get to the bathroom in the morning. The pain was so stabbing and bad.
What made the difference for Patty?
I discovered Foot Solutions in Orem. I was talking to a friend that I knew had plantar fasciitis, and she said, "Have you tried Foot Solutions?" I went there and got some great orthotics and some cute supportive shoes. Then in about a month, the pain was almost completely gone. Talk about relief.
You deserve a life free of foot pain. Just search for Foot Solutions in Orem and find out more at footsolutions.com.
You really ought to go there. It's a good place.
Hello, car donation hotline.
Hi, I'd like to donate a car to the Utah Kidney Foundation. Are you in Utah?
Awesome. Let's get some info and we'll send you a tow truck.
But I want my car donation to benefit my neighbor in Farmington who needs a transplant. Are you in Utah?
That's a no. I'm in SoCal, but you're still donating to charity.
What charity?
Doesn't matter.
Yes, I want my donation to stay in Utah.
Righteous dude. You need to call tow cars in Utah. Locals only, am I right?
Oh, yeah. I remember tow cars with a K like kidney. It's on a billboard somewhere. TOWKARS.org. That's it. Towcars.org.
If you'd like your vehicle donation to help Utah kidney patients in the Beehive State, please use the web address on their billboard, towcars.org, to donate your old car or truck. That's TOWK like kidney, ARS. Towcars.org.
KSL News Time, 5:45. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
3 people have been arrested in Tooele after someone was stabbed over a $50 debt. On KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, an Eagle Mountain woman is in jail accused of negligent homicide after her baby drowned in the bathtub when she fell asleep. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
A crash with possible injuries. We are at emergency traffic in Box Elder County on southbound I-15. A lot of vehicles involved in this accident, southbound I-15. It's after South Willard, prior to Smith and Edwards. It's blocking all but the right lane. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Sunshine and mild temperatures, but some changes are coming. I'm Kevin Eubank.
63 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Now time for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Chuck Sievertson. Analysts say worries about a trade war and possible recession sent Wall Street into another nosedive. The S&P 500 dropped 2.7%. The Dow dropped 890 points. The Nasdaq lost 4%. Canada and Mexico slapping tariffs on some U.S. goods in retaliation to expected U.S. tariffs this week. ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce.
Wednesday, Trump's tariffs on steel and aluminum coming into the country are set to go into effect, which could mean that by Memorial Day, Americans will be paying more for everything from washing machines and toasters to canned goods and cars.
White House statement says business leaders have responded to President Trump's agenda with trillions in investment commitments that will create thousands of jobs. A source close to President Zelensky says Ukraine will propose test ceasefires with Russia on long-range strikes from the air and sea when it meets with U.S. officials in Saudi Arabia Tuesday. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The Zions Bank chief economist Robert Spenlove told Inside Sources what economists call a recession and how close we are to one.
The popular definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters of contracting GDP, or gross domestic product. But it's generally, the way you can see it is unemployment goes up, our production goes down, consumers pull back, businesses pull back. And so we're not seeing that yet, and that's the struggle, is all of our data is backward looking, and the data that we're looking at still looks really, really good. But what the markets are reflecting is this enormous uncertainty that's emerged just in the last few weeks. And they're trying to price that in. If they knew exactly what the tariffs were going to look like, and if they knew what the future was going to look like with the market and with the economy, then they could price that in. But now they're just pricing in this enormous uncertainty and saying, well, if things are going to change every day, then we just need to pull back completely and not be making any future investments.
Spenlow says the Trump administration believes tariffs will help avoid a recession by encouraging more domestic production.
I'll give you their fundamental argument. Secretary Bessent made this point. He said one of the things that was exposed in the pandemic was the fundamental weakness in our global supply chains. If you think about how we couldn't get the things we needed, that's because our supply chains are spread too thin. And he said, if nothing else, one of their big goals, he calls it reindustrializing the U.S. economy. And he says, rather than relying on China or Africa or South America to produce our goods, we need to be producing our goods domestically in the United States. And yes, it will mean that prices are higher. But he says that a one-time price adjustment is not necessarily inflation. Now, let me give you the other side, though, which is we've tried this before and it hasn't worked. So, you know, we tried this in the 1930s. We've tried this over the last 100 years, and it's never worked, but they say this time is different.
Spenlow says we could be facing stagnation where the economy isn't growing while inflation continues to grow. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by Mountain America's low-rate auto loans. Here's Ricky Meese.
And we do have emergency traffic. This is in Box Elder County. Looks to be a multiple vehicle crash with possible injuries southbound I-15. A KSL listener even saying that along with all the vehicles, there is a motorcycle involved with this. This is southbound I-15 after Willard Bay in the South Willard area and before the Smith and Edwards exit. Right now, we have traffic coming to a complete standstill and looking at least 2 miles of solid delays so far. Now, in Salt Lake County, our slowdowns continue southbound I-15 from Murray to Bangerter Highway and Draper. In Utah County, southbound I-15 is slow, Lehigh Main Street to Linden, and northbound jammed up from Orem to 5th East American Fork. Eric?
Crash in Davis County. This is the reason for the slowdowns northbound on the West Davis corridor, the West Davis Highway. The crash is right around Angel Street, so you got 2 lanes down to 1, and the backups are extending to 950 north. If you're eastbound on the I-80 going up towards the 215 West Belt, we do have a crash still there on the right shoulder. Not as much as we had before, but you still have something there, and you've got some delays getting onto the 215 West Belt. Southbound SR 36 still slow in Tooele County from Lake Point down to Stansbury Park. Common Spirit, hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. Eric Butler in the KSL Traffic Center.
The KSL 7-day forecast has sunny skies and mild temperatures to start, but we're going to have a storm to deal with. Tonight, 40 for the low, partly cloudy and 64 on Tuesday, 61 mostly sunny Wednesday, and then a storm moves in. On Thursday, valley rain and mountain snow to start, and then a chance for some valley snow overnight Thursday into Friday morning. Lows dip into the 30s, highs in the 40s, and we've got another storm potential coming in on Saturday. Drier weather for early next week as temperatures huddle right around 50. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Kevin Eubank.
Sunshine, 63 degrees downtown. 7-day forecast brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful.
We're the professional staff at Renaissance Ranch.
We are all recovered drug addicts and alcoholics enjoying life in recovery.
We don't see addicts as bad men trying to be good.
Rather sick men that need to get well.
This is our message to them.
That it doesn't matter how lost, beaten down, or defeated you may feel.
We know you can overcome the darkness as we have.
And now, we're honored to be here for you and to show you the way out.
Our greatest desire for you is to see what we see.
That you are capable of healing.
That you are divine.
Prepare to emerge as the father, husband, and son that you were destined to be.
So to our new brother, we say, welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome home.
Welcome to the Brotherhood of Renaissance Ranch.
It's hard to believe, but summer's right around the corner. Make sure your home stays cool with a brand new air conditioner and get a free furnace for next winter. That's right. When you purchase a premium air conditioner or heat pump from Whipple Service Champions, you'll get a brand new furnace absolutely free. You just pay for the labor to install. This deal won't last long. Schedule your free estimate today. Book online at whipplethataway.com. whipplethataway.com.
Jackson Hewitt wants you to save money on tax prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, 149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. 149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
William is one of millions of Americans who uses GoodRx to save on the cost of their prescriptions.
My oldest daughter, Camilla, 2 days old, she had to have open heart surgery. All of a sudden, she's on 5 different medications. It adds up at the end of the month. Me and the pharmacist got so tight. She said, GoodRx save you a lot of money. Saving that extra $200-300 a month. We're able to do all these extra activities, so it puts less stress on our household, and it puts less stress on our pockets.
Download the free app or visit GoodRx.com and start saving today. GoodRx user compensated for their time. GoodRx is not insurance, but can be used instead of insurance.
Dave and Debbie.
It's impossible to digest and consume all of the news that's now coming at us through either social media or through web pages or through the radio. Pick what is most impactful in your life and focus on that. And that's what Dave and I do every single morning. We pick those issues that are most important to our listeners and we boil it down so it's digestible. It's simple to understand.
I think we're trying to find the essence of the story. You know, you can't be an expert on all things, but that doesn't mean you can't be curious and really find out more and educate yourself and learn the complexities of an issue. But I think all of us start at ground zero on everything. Ask questions, show that curiosity.
And then if you need more research, you can always go to KSLNewsRadio.com and learn more.
Listen for Dave and Dejanovic 9 to noon on KSL News Radio.
KSL News Time, 5:55. We are watching Utah's Money. San Diego company Illumina is expecting to make $100 million in cost cuts this year. Wall Street Journal reports the cuts come after China blocked sales of the company's gene sequencing machines. Company officials hope the cost cutting will help offset lost revenue from China's ban. Krispy Kreme is diving into St. Patrick's Day by giving away a pot of Gold Pass. USA Today reports the pass gives customers a dozen glazed donuts every month for a year. Krispy Kreme also released 4 new holiday flavors, including Pot of Gold, Over the Rainbow, Choco Shenanigans, and St. Patty's Swirl. Mortgage company Rocket is moving closer to become a one-stop shop for home buyers after agreeing to buy real estate company Redfin. Wall Street Journal reports the deal values Redfin at $1.75 billion. Redfin stock surged up 67% today after the news. And the Dow was down 889 points, closing at 41,912. S&P down 155. NASDAQ down 727 points. KSL News Time, 5:56, and it's time for Cougar Tracks. Here's BYU insider Mitch Harper.
BYU basketball closed out the regular season with a rivalry win over Utah. Cougars defeated the Utes 85-74, extending BYU's winning streak to 8 games. BYU scored 51 points in the second half to pull away from the Utes. It was a night to be remembered as BYU honored 4 seniors, including veteran guard Trey Stewart.
It's crazy. They always say, oh man, it comes up fast, and you're like, no, it's not. It's taking forever. This day is going by slow. But I'm just so blessed I got to play in front of all you in this amazing environment. I mean, you look up and just everyone's cheering. It's just one of the best environments of college basketball, so beyond blessed and grateful.
BYU now turns its attention to the Big 12 tournament, where they will be the 4 seed in the 16-team bracket. For more BYU basketball talk, listen to Cougar Nation tonight at 6, where we will take your phone calls right here on KSL. With Cougar Tracks, I'm Mitch Harper on your legacy home of the BYU Cougars, KSL News Radio.
Hi, this is Kathy.
And Jason from Window World.
Jason, other window companies are offering their big specials again. What's our special?
Our special is the same low price every day for every customer all year round.
Wow, Window World is different.
We don't jack up the price to offer a phony discount like other companies.
No pressure, no games. Hey, call Window World 801-281-8111.
Or check windowworldutah.com.
Window World. Simply the best for
And as Doug always said,
that's no baloney.